Don't turn around, don't turn around. Oh, she turned around!
Yeah, she's going for the full down.
She's trying.
Which is so unnecessary at this point, to be honest. Wow.
Bill still has a chance. He can
So
still unhook
unnecessary.
himself.
Bill's got this. Trust in the plan.
I believe in Bill. I believe in Bill. I believe in Bill. I believe in Bill.
Do I have everything working?
Come on.
Yes. I can talk now.
I'm gonna hold on just enough
That's
for him
pretty lame.
to unhook. Come on, give him the Kirby. Give him the Kirby. Give him the Kirby. Give him the Kirby.
Going.
Jump, Bill, jump.
Thanks for the head pets. And the dog. And the bird. And the other bird.
Dang. I hate that the rate for Kirbying is slightly lower now. Apparently they made it higher, but I don't believe it, though.
Did they? They're getting rid of the ability to Kobe? Unless you put a luck offering in the next update, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so now people can't give up on Hook.
No, but... yeah, but for real though, what's the point though? Think about it, right? Theoretically, what is the point when the Kobe rate is already oh so low?
I think the thing they were worried about, were the people that'll like get first hook and then they just like try to go next by Kobeing.
Yeah, but they should do that as a time thing though, if you know what I mean.
Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea as long as they accounted for luck offering.
They can't do it. Like, let's say, right, that somebody was hooked, okay? Hear me out, right? Because I actually big brain this once upon a time. Let's say, to prevent the Kobeing of people, the only time it could get triggered is after the third generator has been complete. No third gen,
Thanks for
no
the coin.
Kobe privilege. Because they technically can do that with the unhooking system with the killer. If they try to camp the body, they can do their own version of that, but with the hook.
Yeah, they could do that, or they could just take the current system where you have to have a luck offering and then just be like, if you don't have a luck offering, then there's a timer on it or something.
It's another Steve. This man knows the assignment. He saw the assignment. He's a Steve. Oh my god, thank you so much for the hydrate. I definitely need that. Can we all be OG Steve?
Oh, he's on console. He can't read chat.
OG
Steve.
Wait, what console?
I think it's better if we're all different Steves.
Yeah.
I won't be OG.
You want to be OG Steve? I can be OG Steve with gloves.
I want to be...
No, I can't be OG Steve with gloves.
Oh god.
Wait, I'll be bleeding Steve.
Do OG with...
You could be OG Steve with Scoops Ahoy hat.
What if I put the different hairstyle on so I part my hair in a different spot?
Yeah! We did it just in time.
All part of the plan.
Okay, low key, the killer's gonna see this, get humbled by how it's
big fucking mad. Big fucking mad.
Who's getting
They're
tunneled
just gonna
first?
look at us. They're just gonna look at us and be like, what the fuck is happening? Steve. I am Steve.
Now we just all need to get that perk that makes us scream.
Oh gosh.
Scene partner.
I secretly love that stuff.
Scene partner, scene partner.
Come on, come on. All four of us get scene partner and this game goes perfectly.
What are the odds though?
Very low. We're more likely to get no mither based on how many times I've seen no mither.
Ghostface coming up.
Tomorrow I'm seeing the How to Train Your Dragon movie. Oh wait, there's a new movie coming out for it?
It's my favorite.
Ooh, I got plunderers. Time to do some looting. I have appraisal. Time to loot even harder.
Okay, guys, I don't mean to like boast or anything, but
Elysian?
I am the superior Steve.
No.
I have babysitter.
Oh my god, you are
It's
the
the
superior
same killer.
Steve. Oh, I have leader though. That's pretty goated. I love leader.
It's Ken?
It's a woman Ken.
It's woman Ken again?
Kenina.
Canina.
Okay, that's not her name.
You don't know
I
that.
can't remember her name now because you said that, but
Come on.
that has overwritten her name in my brain now. But that's definitely not her name.
I wish it was
Hi.
Ghostface. It'd be cool if it was.
Oh, come in, Mr. Naru. Oh crap! There's a
Do you
there's a
think
man
it's the
here.
same person we went against just now?
I could see it. Do you think I could do a haha funny? No, that's not the
guess
right
we'll find
spot. This
out.
is the right one. Well, they're not even here. We're good.
Steve is doing God work
Praise
right
will give me an
now.
extra item. Oh no, I don't know what that. Oh, it gives me a higher chance of an item. I don't remember. Welcome in, Moss. I'm a panda now. A live action
was
How to
your
Train Your
time doing,
Dragon. I
Steve?
hope it turns out well, because the last live action movie that came out about Lilo and Stitch was less than ideal.
Steve?
Hello? Which Steve?
You!
Dang.
You're the only one on a gen, Steve, besides me, Steve.
Wait, what's happening? Who am I? I'm having an identity crisis right now.
Maybe you
Alright.
should call it. Maybe you should call us like Steve renditions of our name, like Ice Steve.
That's a clever one.
Whoa!
I have the self unhook perk. Speaking of unhooking ourselves before the round,
Nice.
I'll come over and rescue when the killer leaves.
Yeah, she's currently following me, Steve. Sorry.
Oh no, she's coming back. You're good. You might have to get the rescue though. Hi.
Uh-oh, I just realized something.
What's up?
She's running a perk that, even though she's not around, she is still very much around.
Has you got that? Back on Jen.
I don't got it. I don't got it.
Thanks for the head pet, Snowy. I'm nervous because apparently there's a scene.
My gen
they
was
cut-
almost done. It's close to you guys, but she's coming back.
Wait, which Jen?
Run, Steve. Run, Steve. Run, Steve. Run, Steve.
Which Steve? That's Steve. Got it.
Run, Trixie.
Wait, why am I
Run,
being bonked?
I'm running,
There's a
man.
killer nearby. But where? Okay, let me go get Steve. Bad news. There's someone behind
I'm
me. I
go-
think. No?
I'm
No, we're
going
good.
for Steve. Never mind.
Steve, she wants me dead, Steve.
Okay.
Oh,
Killer's
never mind.
behind
I
me,
am
so now
going
you can
for
get
Steve?
Steve. Yeah.
Okay.
Buzz.
I'm going for Steve.
How do I loop this?
I'm gonna take you straight to my gen, because it was
Okay.
almost done, and then she hooked you right next to
she
me.
going
and
back
I was
to
like,
hook?
Fuck. Of course she is.
Ah.
Oh, here she comes.
Okay,
so
so
the
we
scene
got
that was cut
we
out
got,
where Toodles
we
and
got
Hiccup were
Ice
sitting
Steve,
down, and
we got
after
Lulu
the
Steve,
flight,
and we got
Steve-
Trixie Steve.
Steve, the bitch is coming for me.
Lulu Steve, no.
How could they?
Lulu Steve, tell her.
Thanks for
Tell
the head
her-
pets, Demony.
No, don't
I
touch
need to set
me
my
there.
lights
No,
back
that's my
up so
no-no
that I can
square. Oh,
see when
fuck.
I get a head pet.
I don't want to say that was a tunnel, but it kind of felt like one. Lady,
Well,
please.
Ivy Wolf Steve got the thing.
The only way I'm gonna know for sure that it is or
Alright.
isn't is the moment I get unhooked by Wolf Steve. Wolf Steve's right next to me, so
No, I got you. I don't give a shit. You hurt my Lulu Steve.
What about my generator? I heard that
It's a tunnel.
over here.
It's a tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
When you look to the
It's a
sky, then you see
tunnel.
Madam, please.
Madam, what did she even do? We have 4 gens left. I can't imagine a good reason to be tunneling at 4 generators.
Yeah, she's Steveist.
Uh-oh.
She's Steve racist. She hates me.
She came back for me.
Okay, so they removed a scene.
Gosh dang it.
Let me get on this generator.
I think someone found my gen.
Interesting.
Steve,
Yeah, I
you
don't know
found
how
my
they're gonna
gen.
do it because I feel like every single live action movie they've made. Wait, no, this is DreamWorks. This isn't Disney.
I am currently behind the warehouse in
Wolf.
one of the
Aw, that's bad.
in
I don't
one of
wanna
the
do
brick
that.
foundations.
You're crazy, Steve Wolf.
Maybe I should have faked the window.
Is she bullying you too, Steve?
No, I'm doing pretty good, honestly. I just played that wrong.
Yeah, this is Ice Steve's first hook, actually.
Yeah, you call me Cool Steve.
Cold Steve.
Cool Steve? You know, cold works too, I guess.
Oh.
Doesn't have that same ring to it.
Why couldn't I drop this pallet? What the fuck?
Is other Steve going?
Sorry, I was applying super glue to all of them earlier. I was worried they would fall over.
Oh. Shit. You know what? That explains everything.
Well, that wasn't part of the plan. Cats and foxes are evil, down with the cats and foxes. Wait, what's wrong with cats and foxes? What did they ever do to you?
She left me and went back to you guys for some reason. I'm not sure why.
She's going to me. She's going to me. She has Tinkerer.
How to Train Your Dragon is DreamWork. Yeah, yeah. Did I say... Wait, did I not say DreamWork?
Madam! Will you leave me the
Hopefully,
fuck alone?
they can make this work out. I'll have to see. Does the movie... I'm assuming... Does the movie come out tomorrow? Is it like you're watching it on launch?
I'd rather have this pallet between you and me, madam. I'm going into the warehouse, Steve. Somebody help.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Madam? Madam!
Well, hello, ma'am. What brings you to my humble abode?
Steve!
Where I went down, there's a Gen at 90.
That's what I'm saying. She's got Tinkerer. Ain't no way she doesn't. Ah, give me a second. I'm gonna mend myself. Hi, Steve.
I think that's a bad idea, actually, because I'm almost done with this gen, so I'm sure she's gonna head this way next.
For hiding inside a locker, you get your charges back.
together.
Oh, so
She's
if I
got
get in a
Tinkerer.
locker, I can heal
Run.
myself almost.
Yeah, I knew she was gonna be here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh,
Okay.
and I'm the first
I'll have to take a
official
peek
death, guys.
and see if How to Train Your Dragon's good. I'm excited for you. I hope it turns out well. That was an accident.
Goodbye. She doesn't like ice cream, clearly.
Yeah, actually, I have an idea. You do this generator. I'm gonna go hide in a locker for 12 seconds. Oh, no, I'm not. I lied.
Trixie, I'm gonna get your generator done for you in spirit.
Yay! Thank you.
I think I'm rusty at Dead by Daylight, guys. I gotta take a zoom out and think about my actions. I'm getting too panicky. I need to relax.
Getting done. Go away, lady.
Maybe. What if? What
swing and a miss.
I think what I need to do is change my character.
Red. She read you.
She did.
That happens to me all the time.
I'm pretty sure this is the same killer we went against before because
Dude,
they whiffed 3 of their hits on me. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I could see it. Is there
I
just
heard
no
about
killers
Steve
on in
going
Australia?
Oh, no, there should be. That's the funny thing.
Are the sounds not working? 1 second.
We spectate Steve.
I've
I hope Steve
refreshed
gets out.
the sound thing.
Go, Steve, go. Oh, Hatch, appear for him. Appear for him, appear for him.
I don't hear him.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Is it
I don't want to
broken?
watch Steve get.
1 second.
I don't
Sound?
want to watch Steve die.
No, not Steve.
Oh, Icefire was just like, are there no killers currently playing on the Australian servers? Because I'm the one hosting. So the servers should be on our neck of the woods. Well, our neck of the pond, actually. The big pond. We're the pebble in the pond. But we're a glorious pebble.
I need a name.
Poor Steve.
Nox, did you hear it? I did not hear the sound alert. Why? Why is it gotta be like this?
Well, I know when it comes to DVD, dominantly, a lot of the people that do play in Australia normally play towards the evening, and it's 2 p.m. So they will be home relatively soon, Icefire.
Okay,
Hoping.
okay.
It's, if anything, there is only one time of the night that is absolutely shocking, and that's 3 in the morning. Killers are the most shocking and scariest killers I've ever gone against in this game. I will never get over getting on, right, at 3:15, right? Because I was dealing Nestle Crunch. Pew. I was dealing, right, with with sleep issues, right? And so I was not going to bed properly, no matter what.
I need names that are funny jokes on the word Steve or the name Steve. Welcome in, Rose. What would be funny? Haha, Steve name. Steve is a joke. Are you saying Steve is a bad name?
Your friend Steve. Do 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 Steve. That should be your next name, Icefire.
Which
Just
one?
do Steve. Or do Steve.
That's like 7 do's and then Steve.
I don't think I can have that many dutes in my name though.
Yeah. Well, just do like DU.
No, I got it. 50 Shades of Steve. I love Steve so much.
I mean, the reason why
I had an
cats and
emote of
foxes
just
are
Steve.
evil is because have you seen Luna? Is Luna evil?
Where is it? Try to find it. There it is. There's my kissing Steve.
I'm gonna need you to explain yourself, Demon Ace.
Steve.
Rose and I are going to have some very strong words from you for you.
Ugh.
If you think Luna is evil.
Are you guys excited for
Jobless
Springtrap
Steve would be
coming
kind of
next
funny.
week?
I like that one.
Oh yeah, I'm about to be a killer main. You kidding?
Honestly, same. You know what's gonna happen? Okay, so what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna tell you right now because I'm psychic. Steve. All right, we have.
Oh my
Alan,
God!
Steve.
Reunited again.
We have
What's
Alan
up?
Steve. We have Steve. We have Torch Steve. Alan Steve has a torch.
He's a murderer.
Yes, Steve.
Cool. Yeah.
It's a Bubba!
No.
Oh, come here, big boy.
No.
This is the time I've been waiting for all night.
Don't lie to me. I swear, please lie to me. Please tell me it's not
yeah,
Bubba.
look at this big, strong specimen. Oh, look at it. Wait, where'd he go? Bubba.
No.
Bubba, come back.
No.
Bubba. Bubba, you're the one for me. Bubba, come back.
Is the one for me. It's crazy.
I just witnessed a murder.
Just witnessed a massacre.
Let me go. I swear, I'm committed to Sudoku. Don't come for me.
No,
Not a laugh. Wait a minute. What perk is this? Can I do the thing? Oh my God, I can. Where are you? Guys, I can give her a hook state to keep her here longer. This is the plan.
Why would you torture Luna like this, cool Steve? That's not very cool Steve of you.
I have just the thing that Luna's gonna enjoy quite a bit.
Is she?
Give me a second. How does this perk work?
I can't tell if this is satire.
No.
Hmm.
I know what you're trying to do, you son of a bitch.
How do I use?
No.
Oh my gosh. Cool Steve. That wasn't cool.
Wow. Oh, this is crazy. Wow, look at that. You didn't even get hooked once. It's like nothing ever happened.
Oh, wow. I don't want to be.
No, let me give me a back rub.
I don't want to give it a back rub.
You get the back
I don't
rub.
want to live. I don't want to be here, Steve.
Oh.
Thanks for following, Hubba.
Lulu, Steve.
Now
it's
get
gonna
back
be
in there. You gotta give
okay.
Steve a good name.
Yeah, this Steve's a bitch against a Bubba. I'm scared of Bubba.
Where's my Bubba at? Bubba, where are you?
We're chasing after Trixie Steve right over there.
That's a lot of revving, sir. I feel like you're compensating for something.
Hello there. Nah, you could never. This is a precious little Bubba boy.
I don't know if I'd say precious. I think that's a stretch.
Oh, he's coming back to the house, by the way. Just a heads up,
Precious.
Luna, in case you don't want to get pinned in a corner again. He's coming up. I'm watching our teammate. How many times can I shoulder the bird? Can I die without being hooked?
I don't think so. I think you can only do it twice.
Fuck you, fuck your house, I'm leaving.
That's a good house, though.
No.
Oh, they checked the corner for you.
My gosh.
He remembers you.
No.
Ace.
Isn't that so kind of him?
No.
Uh-oh.
I just walked straight into this
They
man.
pick on you, Icepfire, and well, I can't
Nobody come
stand
for me. I
it.
make stupid
So I
decisions
sit
by
down to
myself, and
watch.
I die
That's
by
the
myself.
spirit. I want to touch this
Trixie,
generator.
you upstairs?
I'll go right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm upstairs too. Where are you?
Okay. So next round, we're gonna be
I'm at the
jobless, Steve.
generator. I'm trying to keep it from aggressing.
Stealing Steve? Maybe.
I think he
Wait,
didn't
what do you
chase
mean,
me 'cause
Luna?
He realized that I just got off the hook.
Rose,
and I
what do
just
you
made a
mean
dumb
Luna's
decision,
evil?
so,
They
know,
call
I
you
respect
Rose
that.
Noodle Pastrudel.
I'm so
Oh, fuck.
scared
There's a-
right now. You have
Oh
no
my
idea.
god, I wasn't ready for that.
I've literally had to move my mic away.
Oh, but no,
because
I
of
wasn't ready
how
for
loud
visitors. The
I
floor
was
is a
screaming.
mess. He coming? No? Yes? Maybe? No?
Trixie.
He's headed straight for
coming
house.
this way. He's
He's
coming
headed straight for
this
house.
way.
Oops, I
I'm
made the
outta
mess.
here. Going
We
to
talked
Mexico.
about this, Sawyer. You're gonna make a mess on the floor. You've got to
Okay,
clean it
never
up.
mind. I was just about to ask you if you were going for Alan Steve
No.
or not.
No.
Oh, did Alan Steve?
I
Okay,
got him.
listen. I make stupid decisions, Bubba.
happened?
All right. I'm sorry.
No, you
Just
didn't get
kidding.
trapped in a
It was
corner, did
fine.
you?
Yes, I got trapped in a corner.
That's the
Just-
second time he's gotten it down in that specific corner.
No, I didn't die. I didn't get downed up here last time.
No,
was
Luna
me.
was.
It was me.
That Bubba's gonna be getting
Okay.
trained. He's gonna come to that corner every time he's on this map now.
Okay, I play DBD. That doesn't mean I'm good at it, guys. Also, I've been avoiding playing this for like weeks.
Sorry, get excited. It's okay, Sawyer. I'll let it slide.
No. No.
Where is he?
I'm just your
Ooh, yeah,
residential
you're
set.
right.
He like nodded and shook his head at me. I think
he
he was
missed.
equally as disappointed in my decision as I was. And it's crazy because that's the second stupid decision that he's seen me make. So as long as he knows that it's the same Steve making these stupid decisions, he probably just thinks I'm special.
We need to loop this with friends.
He's going. He's
Let's
gonna
do
work
this.
you off on the technicality of your specialty.
He's like, man, this one's just not very bright, huh?
Oh, Alan woke. It's not your time.
Hopping on DPD and now, so you may see as a killer. Please don't be Bubba. I'm scared of Bubba.
Okay, you got this, Alan woke. This is your chosen time. You threw Shaq Pallet. Oh, despicable. Wait, what just happened? What did I just see? Oh, he got
He's
cryo.
chasing no one. Where is he?
He was on Alan woke. Oh, he's on me
I've already
now.
made
Ooh,
two
Bubba.
stupid
Oh, what do we
decisions.
got
I might as well
here?
make 3.
Run to a vase. Ooh, good plan. Good plan. I'm running into
No.
someone else on a generator.
No.
Ooh, wow, this is working out.
No.
He's still coming.
No.
He
Go
coming for
away,
me? Oh, he
Bubba.
is.
It's actually so fucking funny watching him thrash his fucking
We're going back to Shaq.
chainsaw around.
Our Steve friend took Shaq from me. Is he gonna rev his chainsaw? We get him on.
God, I was so
got
happy
this.
when I got told they were gonna take Bubba out of the game.
No,
And then-
Shaq's been
Oh,
thrown.
jerk, that's not what happened.
You
I
got this,
cried.
Lulu. Finish
I
that, Jen.
don't.
You got
I
this.
don't. He's gonna appear out of nowhere. He's gonna gut me like a fish.
It's
Vault
not-
it, vault
he's-
it, round
he's
2.
chasing after Cool Steve. It's gonna be all right.
Okay, one more time. One more vault. We get a third vault and leave?
Oh, I finished top house gen. Let's go.
Yeah, mind game.
Stupid Steve for the win.
We vaulted it. Now we go this way. There's a pallet over here. I think we can make it to.
I want to help him with the gen so we can get the
No, we don't make that. We don't make that one bit.
Oh, I think I found him. He's outside of house.
Who's this? Ooh.
Downstairs.
Oh, so close.
Opposite side of one of the gates.
Ain't no way.
What?
He put his sunglasses on.
He did.
No one is good at Dead by Daylight. Rose, I like to imagine that sometimes I play pretty okay.
Does he have Lightborn?
No, I'm just stupid with torches.
Dude, there are some people that can play Dead by Daylight with like unrealistically good skill.
I'm the stupid Steve, so I am
and
the
I
one
don't
that
understand
must die.
it. They make every right decision. Hey, welcome back.
I'm gonna take him to the same corner if I can make it there.
To the naughty corner with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the corner with him.
I got to hang out with Wolfie today. Oh, I hope they're doing okay.
Look, we're in the same corner. Isn't that funny?
Oh, that's...
I don't think he thinks it's funny.
That's not the naughty corner. Where's the door at? That one and that one. You got that door, right?
Well, Bubba, if nothing else, I hope I made you laugh, you know?
Oh, that poor...
I hope we had a special connection, my stupid brain and you.
Where are you, Bubba? I must give you that final chase. Is there a pallet over here? Yes. We pop the door and we go back in. I can't miss this opportunity. Soul Survivor. Oh, I do the door faster. I need to bring my son up.
I believe in you, Luna. Get out of there.
Wolfie's doing okay. I haven't heard from him in a while. Did he just get busy with work?
Go away, Bubba! Go away!
I'm back. Where's Bubba? Where's my Bubba boy? That's all corn.
He's at the gate. He's at the exit gate, homie.
I'm coming. Where's Mr. Bubba at? Oh, he sees me.
There he is. There, get out of there, Luna. Run! Run, Luna! No, Luna, leave! He chose this!
I did this on purpose. Let me be reunited with my boy.
Okay, just let him be, Luna.
Can I go backwards?
Luna. He said, no, you can't have him. You need to leave.
Yeah, just let him. This is his time.
Fuck you.
Why you do this to yourself?
I am so scared of Bubba, you have no idea.
Now's your time. I've actually never seen Bubba's Mori. It's time.
Really?
I can't nod yes, though. Oh, yeah, he just hits you with a hammer, that's why.
I can't watch it, I can't watch it. It's so scary.
Ah, man, I have not seen a Bubba in Dead by Daylight in probably 6-7 months.
That's crazy, really?
It's not long enough. Keep Bubba away.
Oh, what a good Bubba boy. I knew Rose is gonna become a Bubba main just for you, Luna.
You guys' two separate reactions is killing me right now.
What's your favorite killer
Bubba.
to go up against? My favorite killer to go up against, because I never see them, period, is the Knight. No, Bubba, go away, Bubba. I don't
Bubba does what Bubba pleases.
God, I love me, Bubba.
Doobie, were you Bubba? I want to apologize for every stupid act.
Wolfie's doing okay. We're talking today, and I'd like to include you in said combo tomorrow. Ooh, yeah, let me know. I would love to chit chat. I need to set up my VR chat again one of these days. I like running lesion. I'm a toxic lesion. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what
Not to
happened?
call it there. I'm getting one of my headaches, so
Oh no.
I'm sorry,
it's
was it
making
because
what
of my screaming?
no, I'm getting one of my cervical headaches. It's making my eyes water, and that's when I know I need to step away from the screen for a little bit. So,
Oh. Well, thanks for
Oh,
playing. You got
that's
to
okay.
experience the highlight of my night, and I think that made it just a little bit better.
It was definitely something. I'm so glad that all three of us were on completely separate pages for that.
I love the fact that it's like, oh no, Bubba's gone. I just look behind me screaming, blood curdling screaming.
What is worse is I was standing directly below just watching.
Yeah,
It was okay. It was okay. I wanted to let you live, but I have
a quota to meet.
Yeah,
Understandable, and I made stupid decisions, so I was clearly the one that had to go. I respect it.
Bubba,
Alright,
I'm so
guys.
scared of you. You have no
Bubba.
idea. I was avoiding you like the plague.
Bubba, I just have to say, I love seeing Bubbas in this game, so please keep playing Bubba.
No.
Alright, well, I hope for Luna's sake you don't have any more Bubbas, but I hope you
It's
guys
gonna
have a
happen.
good night.
It's gonna happen. You've already jinxed it. It's all
They're a
gotten
rare
emotion.
breed. I was playing VR chat with her today.
Steve.
GG's, guys. You have a good night.
Bye, Trixie.
Bye.
I'm sorry, Bubba. I'm just
You?
scared of you. I'm a Steve. That's all I am. I'm scared of you, Bubba.
Just be aware, Zoyer, that I don't get off work until 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 6, wait, what's the math? 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Eastern. So, let me know how you plan to communicate.
I'm gonna put you on my head, Icefire.
Nice. I put my son on my lap.
Bigger. I'm gonna make you bigger, and I'm gonna put you on my head. There we go.
I'm sorry, Nox, that I'm no longer a snow cone.
Yeah, I'll have some later.
I also fixed my
I'll give you a
animation thing
hint.
here, so I don't do
Upside
my
down.
weird
Are
idle
you
animation.
playing the dog? Are you playing the dog?
I am the dog. Wait. There's not a dog character in this yet. One day. I'm a seal now.
No. Okay. Do you remember
Thanks for
when
lurking,
I said
Dusty.
to you ages ago, Icefire?
Also, your VTuber's
that I
looking really
had-
cool.
Okay. So I requested 3 killers to come to this game: a vampire, a pirate, and a lichen. Okay.
Okay.
We have the vampire because of Mr. Nosferatu. We have the pirate. That's the Houndmaster. She's a pirate.
Or, okay. I don't think I've ever seen a pirate with a dog.
Lichen. No, but she is. She is a pirate. In her lore, she is stated that what she does makes her a sailor, therefore she's a pirate. Steve. Meg. This is how we communicate. Why is that box illuminated for me?
What box? That's a cool box.
Yeah, it's red.
Do you have Plunderer's Instinct?
I think so. Let me
Oh my
open it.
god, your calling has come. You must loot the boxes. I have spine chill. The killer looked at me. Oh my god, best perk ever. Where am I? Where is he? Oh, there's a demo.
Wait. Okay, now. I respect that they waited. I respect them.
How'd you do this to me, Mythical? Welcome in, Mythical! But chitty chatty through the day because I have a stream interview tomorrow at 8 p.m. Wait, with who?
They're wearing my favorite skin for Demogorgon too.
Ooh.
Run,
What skin
Meg.
was that? The one with the chain on it?
No. So it is the I'm trying to remember. It's
I
like
think sound alerts is not working.
Scale.
I don't know why.
You are angry, Flower.
Is he the Demogorgon?
Angie. Let's go, Flower. The flower has befriended the Meg.
Wait, interview with
I wonder if we
Bubblegum?
can
What's
find
that
the
all about?
Tanuki. This is the
I know
map
you
where
right
find the
into them a
Tanuki,
lot.
right?
Yes.
Hello,
I don't think I've
Leon
ever
and Steve.
seen... I don't think I've, like, been able to pick out where it spawns, though.
Oh, do you want to come find it with me then?
Ooh, look at all those totems.
It will commonly appear near some of the trees. So we just gotta run around together till we find it.
Okay. You know, I'm not feeling as strong about going this way.
I am. I'm looking for the Tanuki.
There's a strange
I
dog
found
behind you.
Ice, I found it. Come to me.
Oh, the demo came with you.
No,
Oh, that's
come back,
adorable.
come
Oh,
back,
give me a second.
Come
We got
back,
it.
come back.
Here,
come
you
back,
take this
come back.
med kit?
Where are you?
Nope. Okay. Come
Where
back.
are you? Quick, this way. You're gonna miss it. It's over here.
Wait, why does it disappear? Is it just like after a while?
Okay, walk up to it. Walk up to the Tanuki. It's right
I don't
there.
want to touch him though. What if he dies?
No, he doesn't. He appears.
Can I ride him? No. The
No.
med kit. He needs a snack. I don't think animals use flashlights, but that's okay.
It's his flashlight now. Demogorgon. Oh,
See you later. That's a... Oh my god, that's not a real wall. The next pallet. Hello, ma'am, or sir. Sorry, I was distracted.
oh,
I don't make
Wonder
anything with
just
this.
messaged that Hellmaster is a pirate. Yes.
What?
Also, Wonder, could you drop the command for the Discord for those who are currently lurking
Ugh.
and chatting and enjoy what we
That's
do?
violated by
Don't be
Dracula.
scared. Join
Only
the
the
Discord.
woman
Everyone is
survived. Oh
lovely in
no,
there. It gives
Momo.
you updates when I stream as well, and from time to time we do community day on certain games. If this is appealing to you, don't
Wait, Sawyer, is the interview like to be like a collaborator with them or something, or is it more of just like to talk then? Because you seem to do a lot of interviews.
Oh wait,
Uh-oh.
a body,
Skedios.
a body, run!
Oh, he got it. Oh.
He got
No,
on
he
the
should have
rock.
stayed on the rock. I would have worshipped him as a god.
Oh hi Leon, let me help you with this.
Well,
Leon's just been a trooper right now.
Leon's doing what Leon does best.
Oh.
Wait, okay, so TTS works. It's just sound alerts that's not working. What is happening over there? Coming? Oh, he's getting back on the rock.
Almost got it.
He's trying to get on the rock. Get on the
You
rock.
gotta angle it. You have to angle it.
Oh,
Oh my god, look at him. He's
oh
a
my god, I'm so amazed. Look at this man. Oh, and he's gone.
Oh my god.
He kind of reminds me of a
I need
flea.
I'm gonna get Meg.
I'm gonna reclaim my med kit. I meant poop. No, you meant poop. You TTS'd it. It
Look
is
at
now
him.
official.
Can you jump on other rocks from this rock? Maybe you can jump on another rock. See if you can aim for this rock. Let's see if he can.
Being an LGBT streamer and mental health in the content creation space. Oh, interesting. Do you know when that takes place? Like, is the interview scheduled?
Trying to step on the rock. Which rock? Look at him. He's magnificent.
Oh my god!
Oh, he got
my
on
god! He got on the
another
taller rock. Oh.
Look at him. Oh, he almost landed on the
Wait,
log.
is he trying to like go rock to rock?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what he's doing. Hi, Ken. Thank you for the lucky.
An hour before you get home. I'm still technically, I work from home. I do have the ability to watch. I just may or may not be available. Because my job, sometimes I get super, super busy super fast. And other times I'm doing nothing. And there's really no way to predict it. Although at the end of the day, I'm usually doing better. There's a man.
It's all good, Demi.
He's coming. He's not coming. He's on a rock.
Oh,
Isn't he?
he's on top of... No, he's on top of the little statues.
Wait a minute. Where?
Is he stuck?
No, he's not stuck. He's not stuck. Oh.
Is there anything else you could launch yourself on top of? Wait,
He's
what
getting
about
better
that
at
thing?
this.
What about that? What about this? Wait. Up here.
Are you pointing at him at a spot?
Yeah. I think he's trying to get on top of that giant mushroom light. Hi, Leon.
Is Aki still traumatized from yesterday? Oh no, wait, what happened yesterday? Nah, oh god. Wait, when you say you got violated by Dracula, are you saying, did they do the BM? Did they hump? Because sometimes I play games and do so poorly that I feel like I get a little violated. Cheated, scammed, and bamboozled. Will I never financially recover from this betrayal? I will, because I got a med kit, and that's all that matters. If I do a totem, do I get my sweet 1,500 blood points? I don't see why not. Is it on this side? Oh, there he is. I can bless him. What do I have? Boon of Resurrection. Nice.
Ah, it goes straight down. It doesn't even launch you up. It launches him down.
Yeah, they have little invisible walls to try and stop this. There's an issue on a couple of maps where you could get off the map, and that made them
really?
panic. Yeah, RPD, you could vault, and if you angled yourself right, you could get off the map.
Look at him fly.
Wait, where is he?
He's trying his best. You almost got it. What about from... Let's see. Hey, look, he's a frog on a log. He got on the log ice fire. Look.
I mean, there's a frog on a log. Where is he at?
Oh! That was the coolest thing. So from this log, he went to jump on this rock, and because of the angle of the rock, he went flying all the way over there.
Wait, did he hit like a lip and then just shoot into the air?
Yeah, he hit the lip of the rock and just went fucking flying. I think he's trying to replicate it again.
What a mad lad. There was a bug at one point with one of the killers where I think they could hit a ledge at just the right area and you could stack survivors. Like you hit the survivor on like a cliff on Eyrie of Crows and they would go up into the air and then you could stack the survivors. And I think I remember seeing just a 4-stack survivor team one on top of the other. Because they could.
There, he did it! He did it! He did it again!
Come back. I don't know if I'm gonna be there in time. He jumps off the ledges really fast.
He's coming back.
Oh.
Okay, ready?
But he's getting
ready,
it.
ready, watch. And he's gonna hit.
Oh.
See?
Oh, that was sick. Can he stand on the locker?
I don't know if he can stand on the locker.
Wait, what happens if he hits this? Okay, okay. So is he hitting the lep and then flying up? No.
Nah, he goes down because of the way the momentum of it goes.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. We're gonna try to boost him up.
We have to go. Come on, Demi. We have to go now. Come on, Ice Fire.
He's got to get this locker. He's trying so hard. I don't think he's trying anymore. I lied. I'm sorry. Give him a little.
I don't know where the gates are. Oh, it's right here. I'm dumb.
Violated me. Deity got their Mori. And Cobalt got tunneled out for being a man. That's what he deserves.
No,
that's called equality.
Him. Don't flash him. Go on, shoot. Get out of here. All right. Go, Meg. Go. Go. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
I don't know that he
I'm
wants
ready.
this. Wait, no, he's trying. Does that mean you get kisses?
I do get kisses. Yum, 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 yum.
Oh, what a slobbery boy.
Listen, I wanted a dog. This is the closest thing to a dog.
Oh my god.
Oh, they were so nice.
Why does that skin look
They
like he's
also-
wearing pants?
I think it's meant to be one of the Demogorgon from Russia, or is that the one that's in chains? I can't remember which Demogorgon this one's meant to be, but I love the plating on it. That's why it was like my favorite skin for Demogorgon, and still is up to date.
Wait, is there different Demogorgons for each region? I've never seen Stranger
Yes.
Things.
Yes. So, Voltage, GG, you guys were cuties. Oh my god, you were so cute.
Oh.
You were king of the rock.
Yeah, I was so impressed.
I love how when all three of us saw you get on the rock, we're like, yes, fuck this game. The rock is superior. Oh my god, thank you so much for the sloppy kisses. What was I gonna say? No, so season 1 Demogorgon is just the standard one that we know and love, right? Season 2, you don't really see a Demogorgon. I love Demo because I can get on top of things. You know what? I love that. I love that for you. I love Demogorgon. He's actually one of the main killers I play as well. He's one of my top 3. I love all 3 of the killers I play though. They all have a cute little special place, and I call him the angry flower. The demo in Russia is more albino. They haven't brought out a skin for the albino Demogorgon, and here's hoping with the new season of
Can you guys read the
Stranger
messages
Things,
that
they
are
do.
across my
And
forehead?
God, please, Eddie or Robin, a skin for them, please, please. DBD, make it happen. Make it happen. If there are 2
Well,
people
thanks
who
for
should be in this game,
confirming.
Robin
I will,
and Eddie.
I'll put a bigger
Eddie!
shadow on it next
Eddie!
time. I'm a panda. My
Honestly,
ear is
wondering
still
you
on the
have all
text.
time in the world at the current moment. The reason why I say that is because the new Stranger Things season, the final season, will not be released until next year. Next year?
That's when I'll watch it. The last season comes out, I'll binge the whole show in 3 days.
Apparently there was gonna be a legendary skin for demo before they got taken right?
Oh.
Honestly, I'm asking for one thing, okay? If I could ask for one thing, topless Steve. Come on now.
Why isn't this not a
Shirtless,
thing?
hair on a chest Steve. Please.
No, Taco!
The game will
The
break.
sound alerts doesn't work! But thanks for the head pets, Novi! I'll refund them all. I don't know why they're not working. I refreshed them.
Scoops Ahoy demo is what I want. You know what? Everybody wants that. They should do. You know what they should do? They should do it for April Fools. Wait, no, they make the killers the survivors, and the survivors.
You get a
the
free
killers.
yawn with that stretch. That's cozy. Yeah, they should switch it. They should make it 4 killers, 1 survivor.
It's Pyramid Head.
Look at this man. So much geometry in such a little space. Where's he going? How do I loot this?
Gluteus Maximus. I think he's coming for me.
I don't think he's on me. Oh, Claudette got the bad luck.
Bumblebee, I know what you want from me.
We have Alan Woke back.
Alan!
And he was... No, he was also Steve with this one round.
Honestly, I am so excited for Stranger Things. Okay, so, Icefire. Out of all the TV shows I've ever watched, I love Stranger Things, right? It's one of my go-to shows. Alan!
Okay.
That's not Alan, that's Steve. Steve! Oh, I'll go get Alan. Alan's back here with me. Wait, I can't drop down, but I can jump through the window all cool like. It's okay,
Hey,
Alan.
we're gonna think
Oh yeah,
about this.
I'm here.
Oh, he went the wrong way.
Claudette was here first. God damn it, Claudette.
I didn't think about this very well.
Alan,
And we're gonna go inside. We're gonna hit the balcony outside. Then we're gonna panic because there's never anything outside this balcony.
Claudette,
I swear on me, Mom.
Claudette, see if she wants to stick with me.
Is there a pallet back here? The death pallet? Nice. I'd love to see it.
Imagine having no mither.
Do we have any other
At least
pallets?
it's
No.
not an Oni. God, that would have been so bad for her.
Peg him.
Alan!
Move out. Touch the
Hello,
spaghetti. Ooh, we're not making that. Unless...
How are you doing, Steve?
Why did I do that? Could be better. There's a man behind me and he's very angry about me touching the spaghetti. Is there a window here by chance? You're gonna shoot it through the wall? I would be so impressed right now if I just die immediately.
Okay, we're gonna go get the gen in the
Why did I do this?
done.
Oh,
Okay.
that scared me. Is he gonna break that? No?
I'm doing this because I know he's gonna cage you. I know he's not gonna hook
Why did I
you.
touch that? Break it. Break the pallet. Where's he going? What's happening? Who am I? Oh, I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. Oh, this is really bad. Why am I here? Why am I even thinking about these moves? Oh, we're good. Not even a problem. We just leave. He quit. I'm sorry.
You made him
I
rage
bullied the
quit.
killer. I'm sorry. I tried to lock in to remember how to play the game.
You bullied him.
I bullied him.
Aw. You bullied him. He had Lightborn. Aw, but no one had a torch.
I'm so sorry, Brandon. I don't even know what
you?
those
I
swear
swear.
words are.
How could you?
I'm sorry.
They
I
were
didn't mean it.
They were trying, and you hurt their feelings.
I think the really dumb moves I made him think I was BMing.
That you were being a pro.
But in reality, I was just doing the stupidest things. Like one time I vaulted into him and then dodged his swing. I did a dumb tech where we vault into the killer, miss the swing, and then vault back.
That is so funny,
Push-up
though.
time.
It's like I am a professional. A professional fuck up.
I am good at what I do. That's all I can say.
I am a professional, Steve. It is what it is, you know what I mean? Wait, where are you, Icefire? There you are. Oh my god, you're a red panda.
I missed one of my push-ups was not very good, so I did 21 for you.
Boom.
I'm back.
Boom. Where's your son?
Thanks for the head pets. Oh, I can put my son on my head. I don't know why it started working, but it did.
Where is your son?
I don't know. He's
I'm
lost.
trying to find him.
He's at a friend's house right now.
I found him. I found him. I found your son. Bill! I swear, it happened again. We got Bill. I swear,
We've got
Hubba.
Hubba back. Oh, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Alex is dumb. Is the name of our David. In some weird way, the dumb gene from Trixie, as she called herself the dumb Steve, still lives on in Alex.
in her honor.
In her honor. I miss her so much.
Yeah, hopefully they're feeling better.
Honestly, I hope she is. I hope she gets some rest. I hope she gets some good num-nums. Yeah. Overall, I hope she just gets plenty of rest because it seems to be that season, you know? Well, it's currently winter
Yeah.
here in Australia, and I am freezing every night.
Dude, here in America, it is just the pollen is out in force. My allergies are just murdering me. I'll trade
I
you.
love
You want to be in the
flowers.
summer season? I like the winter because it's cold.
Oh, hell no. I'm going to take that.
What am I?
Was
What are
that
these
a killer I
perks?
just saw?
This is the skin of a killer, Bella. Oh, I have Technician. I can blow up the gen and do an extra like 20% damage. Oh, this is great. That's value.
Yeah, I got bloody snow for the first time in 10 years. Honestly, I would not want to have summer right away because my summer and your summer are two different things,
You mean like time-wise or like temperature-wise?
temperature-wise.
So where I used to live, I think was close to the summers you guys get. Like last year where I used to live, it hit 119 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in the rest of the world's units, but it's hot. Where's the killer at? Oh, it's a ghost face. Oh, that
Oh,
gen's almost
Alex.
done. Oh, he's got... Why did that gen get blocked? What happened? Oh, he's got thrilling tremors?
Honestly, I've always wanted to go to Perisher Blue just to actually see proper snow. Oh, Kindred.
Where's
Bill! Bill! Look at him. He's such a G. Oh, 53 degrees last summer. Bill!
What is 53 in Fahrenheit? I need to know. I don't understand these weird metric units.
I don't understand your lingo either. I'm going for...
I don't know where the
him.
killer is. Killer was near the boat. Killer's in front of boat. Let me go get our friend. Did the killer happen to leave you by chance? Ooh, yeah, get that gen done.
No, the killer's with me. The killer is with me currently.
Okay.
Booyah! Copia!
I did not mean to just dump
David, David, what are you doing?
my stacks of that
David,
perk.
what are you doing, buddy? Is it because I'm not topless? Is that why you're not going for me?
Wait a minute, that's the spirit. I need to be shirtless, David. Oh, I also need to be Jobless Steve one round. 1 second, let me change my name.
Jobless Steve. You should have like a redeem just for people to name your Steve. But it has to at least have Steve in it.
Dude, I accept any funny names if someone's willing to come up with one. What do you mean that's an odd thing to state? I think it's important they know I'm the Jobless Steve. I'm gonna heal you.
I remember one time I thought of a name, right? And it was Steve, and it was Steven, but with a P, so it's Fativen.
Steve, but the S is silent. Hey, good thing I healed you. Yeah, beat him up. Is this your boyfriend? Why are you being so standoffish with him?
It's called tactical foreplay. You should look it up.
I'm sorry, I'm not that educated in that.
Look, he knows I love him enough. Oh my god, Ghostface. Ghostface, please. Put me down.
Not technician! I didn't want that 8%!
Don't put me on the bitch hook. Don't put me on the bitch hook. Thank you. I appreciate you. Goodbye.
Do you have Kindred? Nice.
I do? Oh, I do!
Not you.
Even I don't
wait,
know what I have.
taking
Let's see
after
what I do have.
deity.
I
Oh,
have
but
friendly
I think the names are
competition,
the like half the fun of this game. There's a
illumination,
killer that's
boon of
gonna be coming.
illumination, windows of
I can
opportunity, and
smell it.
kindred.
I can
Oh, that's
smell
pretty
him.
solid, actually.
I'm
Bill!
gonna heal you.
Bill came for me.
Can I get a third heal on this?
Bill, my boyfriend might not like this. I'm telling you
Oh.
right now.
Come on. Come on, give me a fraction. I think I have enough. I think I can get a third heal on this med kit. If I'm very quick, I think I can pop the syringe.
Someone before I got 58. Oh, that is fucking hot. The highest I've gotten where I live currently
God, there's that
was
murderer.
42, which even on its own, thank you, Bill, is horrendous.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. I panicked. I panicked, guys. Panicked again.
Ice Fire, what are you doing, my boyfriend?
I'm sorry. It was tactical foreplay. I'm trying to figure out how this works.
Yeah, tactical foreplay ain't for everyone. You just gotta like play it by ear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I gotta try that next time. The tactical part kind of slid through my fingers there.
It slits through everyone's fingers.
What a quote. Are you not coming for me? Or wait. Are you not coming after me because I'm not topless? There you go.
What do you mean you're Steve? Of course I'm coming for you. What kind of a question is this? I'm even gonna use my med
Wait a
kit.
minute. I have an idea. I have a syringe in 1% on my med kit. I got it. Nice.
I'm scared the ghost face is just gonna appear out of nowhere.
Here, I'm gonna vault that, and now he'll be here in no time.
We'll keep him busy.
Where's
I
he
think.
at? Where? Oh, that's a Bill. He scared me a little bit.
Hi, Bill.
Hello? What do we got? There's gotta be a killer. He's getting chased. He's behind the boat. He did come over here, but he found Bubba. Bubba.
Run, Bubba, run. Oh my god, my boyfriend's coming for me.
Where's your pallet? How do I see the killer's
blocked.
aura? What is that perk? I don't know what that does.
Oh shit.
Wait, is everything blocked for a while after the gens get done?
Yep.
Oh,
He's
that's
just
a
standing
little
there
rough.
Looking at me.
You have self-care? Nice.
The good news is I have been hooked next to a gate. I don't know if David's gonna come for me, but it'd be mighty fine if he did. Oh, he's running out.
Let me pop
David got
this,
scared.
and then me and Bill will save the day.
David got scared.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, the gate is on my right, so your left? Yeah, if you're facing towards me, it's your left.
Yeah,
But it's next to me.
You know where our friend is? Your boyfriend?
He's somewhere in front of me.
Okay. That's about 3/4 of the map.
Oh, he's heading to the boat. He's heading to the boat.
Which
so
boat?
if you
Which
run
boat?
straight...
Small boat, big boat?
The big boat. Big
Okay.
boat. He's going to big boat.
Why would he go to big boat? No one's that big boat, and there's no gate at big boat. Oh, he's coming back. Okay, we need to make sure we don't get exposed. That's the one thing I have to be careful of.
If
Oh,
Bill
I
runs
accidentally-
to the gate, it could trick him into going that way. Because he's going for Bill right now. Run, Hubba! Run to the gate!
I've got you. Okay.
Thank you.
Why do I see us?
my
Oh, we have
teeth.
Kindred. Kindred actually came in clutch. I could use those reeds on the wall. He reveals me. I'm in a bad spot. Oh, we're good. And both
We're
doors
good,
are
we're
open
good.
too, so Bill should be okay too.
Let's go!
See,
Goodbye,
all we needed was
boyfriend.
you, me, and Bill.
Bye. We did it! We got him out! We achieved what we were trying to do the last couple games with him!
Thanks for the head pets, Mythical. That was tense. I'm feeling
They're a
better. I'm
Twitch
feeling more
streamer
warmed
too. Are
up.
they streaming? Maybe they're
Ooh.
streaming.
Oh my god, I stream
Time
stalk
is
them? One
flying.
second. Where are they?
Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, they have their link on their Twitch channel.
I love how as I'm trying to spell their name, my I'm wearing band-aids because I ripped some of the skin on my fingers.
Oh no. Ironically, I cut my finger like an hour ago. Stretch time
Oh, look what they're
already.
playing.
I can't wait for you to have a fluffy hair arc. I can't wait either, honestly. I'm gonna have long hair. I'm not gonna be used to it. Okay. I gotta be... Was I Jobless Steve last round, or was I Doot to Doot? I don't remember. No. Okay. So last round I was Doot to Doot. Today I'm gonna be Jobless Steve, and then we're gonna play Shirtless David, unless someone else has a funny nickname.
It is the right Ghostface. I was like, I don't know if you're the right Ghostface, but GG Ghostface.
What if I play... No, I gotta make this censored. What if I play Ace, and I change my name to Ace in Your Hole? On the play on his perk, Ace in the Hole. Stevie Wonder. Okay. I'm liking what you're putting down.
Thank you for the boobs. Well,
The new update for this cannot come out soon enough. I have 5 million blood points. They need to raise the cap, or they need to give me the auto spin, please.
oh, this is a sweet Ghostface.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I know when it comes to a lot of streams recently, especially with DBD, it's been kind of oh my god, here's the hot Jake. Do you want to see what I've done with my Jake? Look at this. His Jake, my Jake aren't that far apart. Look at this.
Nice.
I know, right?
You look like
I made mine
Fabio.
look like Fabio.
Oh my god! I knew. I understand hotness.
I'm so happy you said that. You have no idea.
Wait, what was Sailor Steve?
It worked. There
Sailor
we go.
Steve, you talking to the Chips Ahoy Steve?
Be like in sync.
Sailor Mom. I could do that next round.
I swear to God, I spy you and me, we're on a whole other wavelength when it comes to we're on our own wavelength. Hello, kitten. Welcome back.
One of my favorite nicknames in Dead by Daylight is No Premarital Hex.
Playing it. I swear to God, I'll be playing Taco Tuesday this Tuesday coming.
So it's Taco Tuesday. That's the tank one, right?
Yeah. Taco Tuesday is we play tanks every my Tuesday, your guys' is Monday. Or as Kitten calls it, Manic Monday. Manic Monday.
Okay, does taco stand for anything, or is it just because taco?
Yeah, just Taco Tuesday. It's a blight.
Ooh.
Oh, well, you know it's a blight. He's coming for you.
Uh-oh, he didn't get his charges back. Respect it. He didn't respect it.
Like the food, yummy tacos. If I had a 3D printer and I had the time, I would sit there and draw a scale of a taco holder that's a tank.
Oh, it's bad.
You're doing...
Go.
Oh, hi Steve. Hi Steve.
Edia's Hex undercut Gulper? Oh no.
You know what? Keep recovering. I think I can handle this.
I've been playing with nicknames in Discord. I'm Hex Trash. I love that though.
He's coming back for you, Steve.
Oh no. Does explain why I've been seeing so many hexes in this game lately, yeah. All it takes, you tell people no premarital hex, and everyone breaks out their hexes.
Right back.
It's like Prohibition. When you banned alcohol, everyone started drinking. Bad news. There's a murderer nearby. Fabio Jr.'s coming for me, though. Oh, that is Fabio. Never mind.
That's me. I'm Fabio.
Sorry, I saw the shirt.
Oh, he's literally gunning it for
What
you.
if? He doesn't want me. That was a mistake.
No,
Why'd I leave the pallet?
him.
Pallet was safety. Why'd I leave that? That's a 50-50.
No, Blight. No.
No. This is okay. This is okay.
No.
He's wasting time.
Run,
Why?
Steve, run.
Where is he going?
He's chasing you, Steve.
I don't know where I want to go.
He wants you
Why
dead.
loop this window?
No. I'm so glad I have bombs.
I don't have that
right
pallet.
now.
I don't have that pallet. This is bad. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Why is he so determined? You're body blocking him and he's not even trying.
I'm trying my best.
Look at this window.
No.
What's happening? What if I go
Steve,
unpredictable?
Steve.
I went unpredictable one singular time and he cut me off. Wow. This is what I get for being unpredictable. I'm so confused though.
Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling.
Oh, he has don't take another hit. He's got iron grasp.
Oh, god damn it.
Corrective action.
You're not the first blade I've gone against, buddy.
Vigil.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Okay,
He's
please
looking
tell
for
me
you.
teammates going for you.
Yeah, I got
Please tell me
Fabio
teammates
Jr.
going for
now.
you. Okay, good, because I'm Fabio.
I saw the shirt and I just thought it was the
Hey,
same.
Google.
Oh,
Hey, Google, stop.
I'm blind.
My Google.
What way am I
Google is
going? This way.
responding to me.
Okay. Why
Is
did I
he
go
even
this way?
going for Fabio Jr.?
No, he said never mind. He said I had better plans. He wanted to give jobless Steve a job. Where are you going? That's a pallet. We have a pallet over here? Guys, no? Oh, that's okay.
Okay, good news. He left you completely.
I'm gonna go hide in a corner now and cry. Give me a moment.
Unless I saw that wrong, which I don't think I did. Was that?
X trash
totem I
reveals the
saw?
aura of survivors near trash piles for 5 seconds. Nice.
It
Is there
looked like a
even
lit totem.
trash
What?
in this game?
Okay, I'm just.
Are you talking about filler
Alright,
tiles?
I got Fabio Jr. with teammate.
Thank you. I'm gonna go heal and shank.
This man must have some kind of vendetta against you, Ice. Who have you been pissing off lately?
It's because I'm jobless. All the gens over here are done. Why do I see your aura? Oh, aftercare.
I also have Bond as well, so I can see where you are, and now because these two healed me, I can see where they are
Where's
too.
that killer at, though?
He was near the middle.
Is the killer like on an adventure to
interpret.
find me?
Maybe.
If I just hide behind a wall real quick. Okay, he's coming. I think he sees me. There's no shot. He saw me. Okay. Why did I give up pallet?
He might be new to he might be new to killer.
I wanted the... Oh, no, he's here. Can I vault that? I don't think I can. Shack? I don't think I can shack a blighty boy. Oh, he missed. Okay, do we play the ultimate mind game? Where'd he go?
He's on the other side of the tractor that you're on.
Oh, he did the thing. He did the thing.
He did do the thing.
He
He's
fell
trying
for that
his
mind
hardest.
game. Oh, that's bad. Okay, what do I do here? I'm sorry, I'm bringing
Okay,
back to
yeah.
that gen. Okay, what's the plan?
He's locked on. He's locked on, man. He's locked on you.
Oh, no, he missed. I need to vault that. Oh, that's bad. Do I have a pallet here? I make that? I don't think I make Shack. Can I bump him? Nah. Dang. Oh. Oh. I was so excited there.
Teammates are trying.
Oh, he doesn't, they don't know about Iron Grasp. That does nothing. I'm still at 30.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
You know, I gave him a good chase.
Steve!
Dude, that was a good round.
He
That was
really
fun.
did not like you. What did you do to this man, Icefire?
It was the polo. He's jealous. He can't have nice things like me. I almost instinctively tried to hit Jake Park's skill check on the hook. Is that enough? No.
I'm going for Jake.
They're looping Shack right now. Jake's coming back to the hook. Jake is
that's
dead.
Not Jake. That's what's his name? What's his name? The other dude. Run.
You do have Shack pallet down, so until he breaks that, that's probably the safest spot. Okay, the whole team is chilling. Jake is leaving. He's coming back.
That's me. I'm that Jake. Okay, the smart thing to do would be for me and Fabio to group up.
The killer's coming. The other Jake Park is running into every tree. His poor forehead.
Go.
Slap. Smack him. Oh no.
Jake might be out for the game, but I'm gonna go for teammate.
You can get the save. The other Jake's on... played like a fiddle.
He's not even gonna pick him up, is he? No, he is. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Okay, he's coming back.
Run.
And I've gone so far. The first match I played of Dead by Daylight before your stream to make sure I wasn't doing that weird crashing thing. I went down like first 15 seconds of both of my chases. It was bad.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
What am I to do in this situation? He's just gonna tunnel him out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you could try and work on a gen, but at this point it's looking like a hatch game.
I'm sorry, teammate.
I don't get the crashing thing, but I do get the weird stuttering game for some reason. When you say stuttering game, are you talking while you're streaming or when you're not streaming? Because I have learned Dead by Daylight and VTube Studio are not on speaking terms. Why did my light just turn off? And he's back. Wow, I love Elgato.
I'm gonna double back to the Jake's gen.
When I'm not.
That he was working on.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's kind of weird. Restart your computer. I've noticed sometimes I just get weird frame lag, and then I restart and everything's fine.
Girl could really use a medkit, God.
And sometimes the killer just causes it. Like it's.
How am I looking?
Dead by Daylight's like wild. Let me. I was actually spectating you. Our teammates in chase. Not for long though. Ooh, no, that might work. Ooh, he slapped him. He ran into a dead zone. Teammate is not looking good. Okay, okay. I can see your plan. It's not gonna work. He had some... Oh, he's coming back. He's slugging for the 4K. He's going to the far corner, though, to your right. Ooh, that's a bold move. Let's see if it pays off. look at that stealth god. There's even a chicken over there.
I'm coming, teammate. Don't worry. I'm fully healed.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's kind of wild. Sometimes it just has frame lag, and it's funny. Because my computer should not be having frame lag. It also could be a Windows thing. Windows loves to do weird stuff in the background. Sometimes it likes to just cause problems because it can. EBD and VC phase are on and off again relationship. Yeah, it's sometimes it's kind of abusive. It has VTube Studio, but I think it just hates face tracking in general. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I think Windows just doesn't understand how to deal with multiple applications running. And then Dead by Daylight just acts funny.
It gives you opportunity to watch how they play.
It's a stealth game. I don't think he's found anyone.
No, he has not.
But that's kind of... It's actually funny you say that, Taco. I actually restart my computer before I stream Dead by Daylight now, because sometimes it would just have horrible frame lag.
Attention.
And you'd get those, like... those stutters you're talking about. And it became such a common occurrence for me that I learned just restarting my PC before stream was the best thing to do. Which is weird, because Windows changed shutdown to no longer shut down. Now it hibernates. And so if you shut down your computer, it doesn't like actually function as a proper shutdown unless you go through your settings and you like disable it. It's just weird. Funnily enough, I did turn off my Windows updates the other day because the update wouldn't install or download correctly. Well, that's weird. I've never... Sometimes Windows Update fails to update. Does he have nowhere to hide? There is no way you could have known
I was there, sir.
Does he have nowhere to
How
hide?
did you know?
Did he kick the gen?
I think so.
I have Windows 11 and the joys that is dealing with every single update that they force out. I'm just glad they made that like computer monitoring thingy for AI opt in now instead of on by default, because before there's this like a tool that came out that was gonna just take screenshots of what you were doing and store them in a folder so you could search through it.
I don't know where he is. He's not chasing me.
Oh, does he have that plague perk?
That's what I think.
I think he hit you and you're the obsession, yeah, and then the heartbeat tracked onto you. That's why you had the heartbeat. That's weird.
Okay, at least, oh no, he's hooking him. Give me the hatch, give me the hatch, give me the hatch, give me the hatch.
Looked it up, it turns out it's just genuinely a bad update. Is there a hatch update, or hatch offering? No. Do they get the hatch? I believe in you, hatch is gonna be right there, trust. Windows 11 isn't the worst, but it does take a bit to get used to. Yeah. Windows 11's weird. You can technically force it to install if you don't have a TPS, whatever they're called, the encryption chips. I think they tried to disable it, but if you go into command prompt when you're installing, you can disable that check.
He knows I'm here.
No.
Yeah, he's not gonna. Yeah, he's just gonna be
He's
mean.
Stinky. He needs the deodorant now.
I don't know, man. I can understand people trying to go for their dailies, but to go to that extent, especially to you, like he tunneled you out of the game.
I enjoyed myself.
I know you did, but yeah, no. I think our Jake and our other teammate did really well as well with what we had. There
Yeah.
must be a D&D fan because they have the dice as their logo.
Yeah, I feel bad for the other Jake that took the hits and went down. They didn't know.
Bring back down tonight.
You know what we can do? We can put in map offerings and rig the game in our favor. You want to go to Gideon Meat Plant, right?
Oh my god. Is that the one with the meat trees?
No, that's the farm.
The farm.
I'll
You know
put
what?
in a-
Let's give it a try.
I'm putting in farm map. We're gonna see some corn today. I really wish that I could stay on Windows 10. I feel like Windows 10 was vastly superior to
I'm
11.
going to give an offering for petrified oak.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
With our little luck, those hooks will be a solid 3 inches farther apart.
Mm-hmm. It's the 3 inches that counts.
That's what I keep telling myself.
My butt has fallen asleep again.
That's always the worst. Can you just like stand up before the match?
Oh my god, it's Trevor. Look at him, he's so hot. Trevor Belmont is so hot.
I was gonna change my name.
What are you gonna
Like
change
Steve
it
got a job. Wait, what? Oh, I mean, I'm. What? Censored
What?
job, please? Oh, they gave censored job. I was so confused. Sorry, there's a chat with the other 2 people in our team.
Oh my god.
They're like, jobless Steve? More like Steve got a job. And I said, I'm going to interviews later. Wish me luck. They said, damn, good luck.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Don't even worry. I brought your son back.
Oh, thank you. I was missing him. I'm gonna put him on my head when I get into the round. Wait a minute.
It's so funny. Your son is on your head, right? And then you're on my head. And then my son, I need to make a thing for my son, I swear to God. John, my son. I'm gonna leave Cal up there because the last time I took Cal down, he got angry at me.
I have a cat. Look at this cat. She's screaming at me. He's a baby. Can I kidnap you? Yeah? Why are you screaming? What's wrong?
Look, I got my son now.
He's literally
I'm gonna
just
put him in the
yelling
corner
at
over
me.
here.
Oh, I just opened my cut on my hand. That hurts. Little baby bean, you want to come up?
Ow.
No, I'm good. Just burns a little bit. I have some like liquid bandage I've been throwing on it. You know, if the cat's here, I'll leave the camera on. Ooh, a toolbox. Ooh, a boon.
I think.
The bean is here for free.
Back
Oh
off,
god, I
bitch.
don't know how to play Sonico, guys. Guys, I need help.
I
don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore.
Lady, please. Windows of opportunity?
Ooh, I got that too.
Oh.
That's my favorite perk. Boys, we're ready. We got windows of opportunity. I got my polo shirt on. I don't think this game could go any better besides this 4
She
lane.
lost me.
I don't know how 4 lanes work. We're taking the tape.
No, guess what I got?
My cat's still
I
here.
have
Oh, she's beaning.
Visionary, Same Partner, Windows of Opportunity.
Oh, you're
and
not Steve Gold though.
I'm not Steve Go.
Nah, you're Fob.
And a
Fob
decisive
Fob
strike.
Golio. Nothing. I thought that was a pretty good pun.
Oh no, I was listening because I thought she was still near me.
Uh-oh.
I'm in the warehouse. That was a good one though.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week.
No. You know how you have this song like, it's finally me and you and us and your friend Steve. I'm the friend. I'm the guy,
Oh.
and then you're my Steve. We just need a third guy.
Yeah. You guys want to see a really funny trick? Can I make this work? I love that trick. No one sees it coming. We take him back.
Ah. I've seen a lot of hate on Windows of Opportunity lately. Yeah. No, in all honesty.
Oh, I'm sorry,
there's
Fabio. Take that window.
It's.
That's okay. I'll take the window too. No.
It's all good, Steve. Just finish my gen for me.
Okay, I'll come back.
Wait, she left. I'm going back to it.
Wait, she's at the
She's following
thing.
you, Steve.
What's happening here?
I don't know, Steve, but she's
Thanks for
behind
the
you.
sub, Zoya. Oh.
Steve!
No! What a party pooper. Thank you for the sub, Sawyer. I appreciate it. That's so kind of you.
Come on, I can commit to this. Commit.
What did he go? Oh, Dusty got one. Luna got a sub. Taco. Nice. And Masa. I've seen them around all today. That's really kind of you. I'm excited. I want to see your interview tomorrow. I hope it goes well. She was getting her Steve. Yeah, I looked away at the wrong time. Oh, so sad.
Madame? Bye, madame. I'm at Shack at the moment. I have it here with me.
My bean leave me? My bean did leave me. Which reminds me, I think next week the new killer drops. Do you want me to give you like advice? Not advice, but like when you play killer, I could probably give you hints and tips and stuff while you're playing.
She hates me. She hates me. She hates me. Oh, there's no way she got that. Well, yeah. She's angry at me.
Oh,
I kept
no.
her busy for a gen. I think I kept her busy for a gen.
Good work.
Unhand me, madam. Blah.
Nice. If I'm gonna play DBD, I'm gonna do it with as a survivor.
There's a
but I can give you
generator right
tips
behind
and
me.
trips. I have played so much Dead by Daylight
Oh no,
that I can
Steve, have
I
you
can
been
literally
discovered?
just give you tutoring. Why do I hear? Oh, that's what that was. I can give you tutoring
think
while you're
Trevor
playing
might be
killer,
coming for me
and then you can
too,
become
or
the
he's just
best
standing
Freddy
there.
Fazbear that's ever been
He's
around.
coming
And it's
for
not
me.
even. I know it's Springtrap, but we're calling him
David's
Freddy
coming for
Fazbear.
me. Hey, what a lad. And so is Trevor. I feel so special.
Don't worry, I'm just sitting here.
Thank you. Thank you, fellas. Thank you for the back pats. She is here, though.
It's Vecnal. You mean Valenciaga, Nox?
Oh my god, she's fucking
I was
looking at me. I
at
swear.
one point in time, I was a
Code
pro
red.
Valenciaga.
Code red. Code red. Code red.
Okay. Okay, now what's your plan? Oh, they didn't even
plan?
care. What
My
is?
plan? Keep her here. I think.
That was scary. I agree, Steve. Freddy Fazbears. Fazballs. Yes, that one. How's your chase
Nice
looking over there?
Bye bye. Good. Good. I'm keeping her here.
Wait, they break off?
They did.
Nice.
Hey, Trevor stayed with me. What a lad. This is why he's so hot. You
Yeah.
can't prove me otherwise.
Well, I mean,
Okay, come with me. There was a gen I saw over here.
who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Trevor.
I'm so blind
Trevor
right
was
now.
behind me.
I thought you were having a conversation with me somewhere I couldn't see. Is there a killer right behind me? Man, I hate when that happens. Can I make that? I think I can. She's a slow killer, right?
I think you're
Why?
coming towards
Oh,
me.
what if I told you I'm coming
Steve.
right towards you? What would that make
I
you
would tell
think?
you. I would I would tell
Here,
you
take
that
this window, take this
bitch spit on
window.
my dick.
Don't worry. I'm gonna put her tape back real quick. Sorry, I forgot to return her tape.
Steve,
She didn't even want her tape back. I was kind and I rewind.
Steve, she wants me. She's
Oh,
chosen.
wait, she hit me and then. What is this? Why? What happened between you and her that has made her this determined?
I don't know, Steve. I wish I knew.
What if?
Steve, I think she left me.
What if the job? She's in the middle building, going clockwise around it. What if the job that I got was Blockbuster? Look at me dealing with all these tapes. I'm kind of proud of myself.
Steve.
What if I told you?
Steve, she's after me.
Wait,
like,
is she still
I'm
there?
Shack. No, she's gone. She lost me because of the boon. Where are you?
I'm gonna come back in. Everyone's at the far door. Are you safe
Far
right
door?
now? I'm on the hill by Shack. I'm monitoring the situation.
Behind the hill. Turn around, Steve.
Oh, hello. Wow, you're so short.
I am.
Am I
Steve,
jiggling on your screen?
No. Are you jiggling on your
I
screen?
was jiggling on my screen. I was excited for that.
Steve, I think she may be taking this separation very, very hard.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, she's my manager, and she's kind of mean. This job
let's
kind of
go.
sucks. I think I'm gonna quit.
Oh. Steve, she's just standing there.
Menacingly. Can I take her tape? This is my tape.
Are you okay? Are you alright? Oh, okay, Trevor.
And that's how you
Trevor's
commit
telling me
theft.
Okay, Trevor. I'll sit down.
But you're gonna be playing the new killer when they come out, right?
Looking at the kill, I'm like, are you okay? Are you? Trevor walks in front of me. He just smacks me. He's like, come on, we're leaving. I'm like, oh.
But I would be
okay,
down to
okay,
show you
I'll sit
Survivor
down.
if you want me to
I
teach
will
you
sit
Survivor.
down.
I can hop on my Smurf
Oh,
account.
poor thing.
Maybe I can
I'm
make a
gonna
new
give him
Smurf
thumbs up.
account
They
so
did
you'll have
try.
no MMR.
Thumbs up.
That might be better. This account has so many hours on it. Anyone that plays with me is just gonna be in a bad
David? I
time.
didn't even see David. But low key though, Icefire, this set that I had, these random rolls, they kind of clapped though.
Dude, the perks I got were so good, and that map has this really funny spot on it where you can like duck in a corner and the killer always walks by it. As long as you set it up, and I was able to do I did like a little Scooby-Doo slip where I just hid in a corner and they walk by.
I'm not even kidding. You know what I had? I had windows of opportunity. All right, think of this. Like open your third eye and think about this. I had windows of opportunity,
And
scene partner,
okay.
decisive strike, and
Okay.
visionary.
Did you get to use decisive? She seemed like she wanted a tunnel.
Yeah, no, I didn't get cooked.
Oh. Hey, what's visionary? Do you? I don't even remember that perk.
Let me see. You see the generator's aura within a 32 meter. Because remember I said, hey, I remember where a generator was, and then you ran into me. You're like, about that.
I found the generator too. It just took me a little detour.
Detour. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody, right? Oh my god! I was talking to somebody the other night, right? About oh my god!
I also have a love-hate relationship with that bot.
Does this mean
Love
I
him.
get to?
God, do I wish I could
Yeah,
throw
my
him into the
favorite
sun.
emote
Wait,
ever.
what bot? You talking about?
Panic!
I gotta change my name.
I love this emote so much.
Hmm.
It's like my favorite emote on your stream, I swear to god. Even though it's meant to be excited, to me it just looks like panicked.
Oh my god. That's the emote that I've wanted to get rid of for a long time. And I checked how much it gets used. I see it gets used, so it stays in.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm
It's
not
really
upset.
'cause of me.
The emotes are designed to be used. I just have things I want to rotate.
Oh, I rotate it all the
Where's
time.
my...
The coolest Steve. Aw, thank you, Taco.
Ooh, this is the wrong costume.
Oh my god. Hex bear.
Wait a minute.
Hex me in your I'm guessing they meant hex me if you can,
Did I
but they
typo?
wrote hex me in you can.
I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke. Oh my god, my name is Hex.
And you can. Do you need a hand?
Do you guys smell burnt toast too?
Do you need to sit down? Oh my god.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself. That makes it even better. Oh, how many Smurfs does that make? I have 2.5 Smurfs, but I can throw all my DLC to another account and I can get it all for free.
You know what this calls for?
Thanks for the headbeds,
Tim
Toggle.
Tam. Oh yeah, no. I was talking to someone the other night, right, Eyes?
Mhm.
Devastating, to say the least. They just got 2,000 followers on Twitch, right?
Okay.
And then they got banned on their account until further notice. I'm like, what? Why did you get banned? Right? Because they're a VR streamer, right?
Okay.
Apparently, whilst they were adjusting their full body tracking, they claimed that they were touching their boobs inappropriately, and that's why they got reported.
That's wild.
Right? Honestly, it makes me think like how far Twitch is kind of going in a downward spiral on its own.
Yeah. It's the good old Bezos. Is our killer AFK?
It's a huntress.
Can we give him a little slap this slew? Come over here, little lady.
I can hear her. Is she AFK?
No, she's in the middle. No, she's back. I think she was just late to the party. Ah. But Zoyer, if you want to play, I will make a new account so that you don't get cursed by super high level stuff. I feel bad. Last time we played together with that other guy, it was on a high level account, so you got matched against people that had a lot more time in this game than you. And that's gonna just be like a really unfun experience for you.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm actually in the dead center of the map right now, watching the Huntress Loop Shack.
Oh, I am working in the purple room. I fucking love this room.
What
it's
is
so
a
beautiful.
purple room? Oh, in the basement.
In the basement, yeah. The wizard's library. Or
Yeah.
Vecna's library?
Is that his library? Very nice.
feel
It's
like
very
it is.
purpley. It's him. I just like sit right here. We have a killer. Why not? Oh. I like how this game either has Mega Killer 9000 or Blind Man face on keyboard. Yeah, sometimes the killers in this. What happened? Sometimes the killers in this are absolutely blind. Sometimes you just have to have faith. You have to do stupid
mirrored
things and know that it
illusion.
might work. We're making this. I'm not giving this generator up. Ooh, I ran into the lady. Where am I going? Now there's a pallet.
Did she just leave you? She honestly just left you, buddy. It's all good, buddy. I got you. I'm gonna give you a back pat. We're gonna get you some chips. We're gonna get you a blanket, and you'll be all right.
Wait, she's a 110 killer. I was really hoping I wouldn't stub my toe there. What direction? We gotta take our check spot right here and make sure that we don't run straight into the killer. Around the back. Oh, pallet over there by chance? Oh, she went inside. What happened? Where's the killer at? Oh, she did go inside. The basement over here? Oh, she's just following me. Me and the killer are going on a little stroll. I didn't mind too much because you guys made it genuinely fun. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I try to not take this game too seriously. If I ever take the game seriously, like, feel free to call me out. I feel like the fun part of the game is just relaxing. The killer's still behind me. There's no shot, right? There's gotta be a generator, right? Oh, there they are. She's got the locker search perk, I bet. Or she just doesn't know she needs to reload. She's coming. Got a little bit of a heartbeat. Yeah, let me find a generator and I'll read chat. I think all the generators are downstairs. Talking can be quite devastating. Quite understandable. Oh wait, there's more to the story.
I'm working on the generator in the middle, and I think she's looking for me. But she found
look,
my illusion.
it's the 5th survivor.
No, she's just walking around down here.
The potatoes. She dropped them. This is a 50-50 I don't want. Bad news. She finally got me. You know, some Twitch staff had to look into that report and see the boob touching. They probably banned them because there was no boob touching. I am curious to know what gets a channel banned on Twitch, because I feel like I see channels that get away with a lot more than they should. And then I feel like I see channels that are like so terrified of the rules they're unwilling to do anything. Uh-oh. What direction is the killer coming back from? Oh, that way. You guys are doing gens downstairs, right?
Me and my doppelganger, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna keep her up here. I have a sabo. Is there a hook over here? No.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, no. So there are certain rules for VTube models, that we have to abide by, which obviously nothing super duper lewd, aka underboob, inner and certain side thighs, you know, just basic like know-how things, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna come back in and get healed.
Oh, are you inside the building? Because I'm at the front.
Coming to you.
Of the big. Yeah. Oh, come here.
Do a quick heal. I was curious about that. We have a friend named Wolfie that is a 3D VTuber. They do like the VR chat streaming, and they were going over like random rules and things they had to abide by. And I had never heard that they had their own special set of rules they had to do.
Well, now they're cracking down on it because of the bullshit that happened between VTubers and Twitch.
Wait, what happened between VTubers and Twitch?
Okay.
Wait, I need you to come in. Thank you.
That I can actually explain. Okay. So, long story short, there were some VTubers, right, who got their models remade to kind of fit their exterior. And unfortunately, there were VR chat models, like streamers, who were literally in bikinis that didn't cover the underboob, that showed a lot for the imagination, if you know what I mean, and they weren't getting banned for it. In other words, they weren't following the guidelines that was originally set out. And it got really, really shit because it caused a lot of grief for VTubers. Like, I'm talking like all kinds, PNG, VTubers, you name it.
I was not ready for that.
I'm running straight for the gate.
I went to the other gate. I was gonna get that one open. It's closer.
Oh, Dwight. Oh.
Wait a minute, no, we can make this work. Oh, what's the chance to go back to the same hook?
No, she's hooking him right near the gate here.
Dang.
I just ran out. Poor Dwight. He came back for me too.
I even had a perk to unhook fast.
But yeah, no, it started huge controversy, right?
It reminds me of that, like, swimming thing. Where people weren't allowed to... People were supposed to wear specific stuff, but if you were in the swimming category, you could have a bikini on, so people would, like, put a pool in the background, like one of those little inflatable children pools, and they would put themselves in the swimming category, and they just wear a bikini.
Honestly, I feel like when it comes to Twitch, especially with a lot of the rules, it's so fucking strange and obscure, some of the rules. Because, for instance, my PNG, right, falls on that category of technically I'm safe.
Yeah.
Yes, I have booba, but there is no underboob, there is no nip slip, nothing like that. I am a voluptuous woman, like head to toe, I'm covered. Okay. And the reason I did my character the way she looks like this is, one, it fits into my lore, and two, I am a beast.
It's funny when you say look like this, and I just see like cute little cat.
I like how I could be talking, you look over at me, and you're like, oh, look at you, little cute bean. And then everyone looks at my channel, bah, bah, boom. But no, for real. They have like this weird... Okay, have you ever read the rules for VTubers on Twitch?
No. I like to live life dangerously. I'm aware of certain rules that I have to be careful of, and I try to tiptoe those lines.
Okay, ready? So this is one of the biggest rules. It says, right, Twitch attire policy applies to VTubers, meaning that digital models must also adhere to the same rules as human streamers. Yeah, fucking right. I have literally joined in on a chick, literally sitting butt-ass naked in a t-shirt, and her nipples were showing.
Dude,
So
there
it
was a
does
meta
not
at one
apply.
point where they would use sensor bars. They would wear like a bikini or some like super hidden clothing that they can cover easily, and they put a sensor bar so they looked like they were naked. And that was just a strategy for a while in the just chatting section.
That's insane. No,
Yeah.
I literally came across somebody who literally had their camera from like the downward position looking up at their underboob and everything like that. They didn't get banned. They had like 10,000 like followers and got like counting. And I'm like, yeah, Twitch, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Maybe I need to cash in. I need to get my underboob camera.
As human streamers, specifically genitalia, buttocks, hips, female pleasant nipples, the underbreast must be covered at all times on general streams.
I didn't update my name. I'm still Catch Me In You
That
Can.
models wear attire that would publicly appropriate for the context and activities they are broadcasting.
That's wild.
Yep. It says coverage is essential for a VTuber, right? Must ensure that models are appropriately covered. Underbreast and nipples are covered. Why the hell wouldn't then? I'm sorry. You know, how long have you been playing DBD for? Are we talking like today or in general?
How long have you been playing DVD? About 4 hours. Wait, no.
It's almost
2
4
hours. 4 hours for you.
in general. So I am actually not a veteran.
Meanwhile, IRL woman in the pool section is wearing a string bikini holding on to dear life and somehow it's okay. Dude, there's also like weird double standards. Like there was the woman that was naked or whatever and then got banned for like a week, but the news of her being naked on stream got her more publicity. I think she had more subscribers and followers after that occurred. And then there was a guy that the same thing happened to, and I think he got banned for like 3 months.
When Stranger Things first got presented, I have the most humblest, silliest story on how I started playing Dead by Daylight.
Wait, did you come in on demo?
Yeah, I came in when I came in during the last 3 weeks of Stranger Things being presented to Dead by Daylight.
Last 3 weeks of it existing before the ban? Or the removal?
No. It was before that. Way before. So when the DLC was first released, I was there for Stranger Things. That's when I came in. When it was introduced to Dead by Daylight.
Oh.
Now, do you want to know the humbling cute thing about that memory I have of starting Dead by Daylight?
Yeah.
So, when I first was playing, I was streaming back then, right? I was very, very small. I had about 30 followers, right? Which were friends and family, right? Back in the day. And I had a friend of mine who came up to me and he was like, hey, why don't you play Dead by Daylight? And I'm like, what do you mean Dead by Daylight? And he's like, yeah, it's this game. You like horror. I'm sure you'll like it, right? Me being the way that I am, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, no, you can play with friends. And I'm like, what do you mean play with friends? And he's like, exactly what I said. You can play with friends. Oh, god damn it.
Oh, he got starstruck. That's such a good perk on him. He has such a big terror radius.
Wesker, please. Please, I will tell your girlfriend you're hitting me. I will tell your girlfriend you're trying to strike me.
Trixie, no! Your man!
He's beating me up, Trixie. But yeah, I'm under a pallet, but no one's around.
I don't make that.
Ah! You won't see me do nothing. Wait, a hex plaything.
Ooh, it's coming back.
Anyways, my friend was like, oh, you would really like Dead by Daylight. And I, being the silly sausage that I am, thought he was talking about Until Dawn.
That's a good game too, though.
It is.
Off topic, but it's always wild to me that people have their family watching them. Dude, I agree.
You see the killer's aura for 2
Dude, I don't want my
seconds,
family to know that I'm a dog boy on the internet.
Makes you exhausted. Oh, is that?
Gotta keep up my IT job relations.
How do you pronounce her name?
That was an accident. Sorry, my finger slipped.
You give me tetanus. What? How could you do this?
Bad news. No, never mind. Good news. He's not here.
No, he's chasing teammate.
Okay.
I think I found my hex though. Cleansing totem fast.
For the most part, I try to have fun with this game, but the salt seeps eventually.
I see.
Yeah, this game's kind of a rough one.
I've been meaning to.
I find playing solo it can be really brutal. You can get inside your head really easily.
A bit better, in more detail. I mean. Party streamers. Which also works with
I mean, it's known the dude who runs Twitch is a turbo perv. Wait, what came out about him?
Later, I wonder we shall do.
Interesting how Automod had to check that. They're on you, Taco. You gotta run. They're gonna ban your account.
Once my model is fully up to date and everything like that, Icefire, and I get my full body tracking and everything like that, I will be playing a game that is very dear to me on VR chat, funny enough.
Wait,
and
what game?
I'll only be... It's called Slash Co. So it's the equivalent of Dead by Daylight, but their own kind of universe.
Oh my god, I've played that once.
Your girl is almost level 26, 25, something around there. love this game so much. I have my own group on VR chat dedicated to playing this game and just playing games in general because I don't really care for sitting in front of mirrors. I just thought the
Mm.
whole thing was a little bit nutty. I'm committing, Wesker. You can't stop me. I'm committing. I'm committing. I'm committing. Gender.
Dude, I've spent so much time in Avatar Selection Worlds, though.
No. No. No,
I forget the mirrors placed in certain areas to get a good view. Actually, Demon Ace, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Wasn't there a streamer once that like got an upskirt from a mirror in their room?
Please, please, please.
I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I don't know how you'd have a mirror in your camera view and not think about it.
I deserve to get hooked. Not in the basement though, please. Oh no. Here I go. In the basement I go. He's putting me on the bitch hook, Icefire.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've been tagged, bitch.
You got them back? Huh. I have exposed, so I probably shouldn't go straight down there, but I will anyway. Actually, he's not even here.
Oh, I see, I see.
Or the obvious oops, I dropped something. Hey chat. Oh no, I need to bend down and pick up my phone I just dropped. I hope you don't. I'm wearing sweatpants, but I wanna set the illusion there's something worth seeing.
I need to turn the volume a little bit higher on my end.
I can't find the thing in front of me. Wait, how would you do that one? Like bend over? 1 second.
There we go.
Hey guys, I don't know what's in front of me. Oh no. I'm scandalous.
I think of that one dog that's got the zoomies. There's no way. I'm hiding down here.
Why did I do? I just got slapped and ran. I've never had something. You gonna? Is that a window? Oh, it is a window. Sick. Alt it. I know you want to.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come back for your generator because I need a can or I'm gonna die.
No worries. I'm gonna fix my name real quick.
No, you should keep it.
Oh no. Do you think someone read it yet and was just confused?
I feel like someone's gonna look at your name and be like, what the fuck am I even reading
They're
right
like,
now?
oh, cute, then... he's autistic.
I tries my best.
Clean break. What did I do? I'm...
Oh, Yoba! Wesker? Wesker? Wesker, please? I never win against a Wesker. Watch me die, Ice.
No worries. You got this. I believe in you. Oh, he vaulted that. By the way, he can
I know he did. I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Goodbye, Icefire. Remember me.
Trust me.
Remember me as Hot Fabio.
Oh, he didn't even come to this hook.
The other hook.
This was a close hook. Hit him with the you hit him with the lighthouse.
I appreciate that. Wait, I have a full med kit. Come get the med kit on my body.
Give me a second. I got deodorize.
Like, you stinky, Icefire.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens.
Stinky.
A big boy.
Welcome back.
Big boy. Oh, someone. Oh my God, the Dwight looted you. He was waiting for you to your demise. Oh, I think there's a killer here.
He looted my body. He took my med kit.
What do I do here? I think he's gonna be a whale. Wait, where's the killer at? I don't have a terror radius. Oh, he's behind me. I saw him. I saw the stain.
He's still behind you.
Are you gonna use that tentacle of his? I have a pallet in here. Ooh. Come on. Next round. Oh, I was hoping I get a little more distance. No, we stay here. We take that window? Oh, wow, that was not the plan.
You lagged on my end.
Yeah, this is lag, guys. Sorry.
So
It was the game.
being annoying, so I had to fix it. That's okay, and welcome back, Underworld.
At least we know that the basement is not here.
Okay, teammates just healed up. I think Dwight is coming for you. No, they're both coming for you, Icefire. They're coming for you.
It's the TISM. It unites. Uh-oh. Wait, no. Uh-oh. What's his name? I don't remember. Oh no, that's not gonna work. That's a trade. You take that window. You got this. No, take the window. Take the window, my man. You know we're going in. We gotta stay alive. Oh, he's dead on hook. What if I drop the can and do a sabo?
He's doing God's work.
What's happening?
Someone's gonna go through the gate. Dwight's trying to get the aggro.
Gate.
Dwight's a real lad, man. Dwight. He knows.
Oh, this is
He's
bad.
a Noah.
This is bad. This is really bad. He
knows
knows.
you're there.
He knows. He knows. He knows.
He's a Noah.
I'm sorry.
You know
I didn't want to leave them behind. I would rather die than let my fellow Dwight go.
I see I join and you die. Funny. Yes, I succumb to death.
Sometimes that happens to people.
Oh, but that was a good game. Despite us
My mom is still mad I won't let her know anything about my streams, and it's gonna stay that way. Honestly, it's probably for the best. I don't feel like I'd want that kind of negativity in my streams. You should mori me, Mr. Wesker. It would have saved some time.
And there you are.
Wild. Honey, what do you do? It's straight bussy when you talk to Steve anytime you see him. Wait, whoa.
Not even. I'm pretty sure we were playing a game before where
what Dead by Daylight are you playing over there, Taco?
She just didn't
I need to know for homework purposes.
And then Icefire made someone rage it.
No, that poor pyramid head. I just wasn't ready for geometry homework. Yeah, we need a new name.
You should do Fativan. No, wait. You're David, right?
Yeah.
You should call yourself Pride Man.
Pride Man?
Pride Man. Like Captain Planet, but Pride Man, because it's Pride Month. And there's no one more gay than David. It was confirmed that he, yes, is part of the rainbows. It's like Superman, but Pride Man.
What if I change my name to No Bus Left Behind? You
know, they should just make a flag,
reference to the bussy
of a burger. That is what I will be.
A pride flag? I honestly think we need to represent our fast food.
Right?
We should get French fries too.
Yes, no, burger and chips.
What if what if the hamburger flag comes with a smaller French fry flag?
And then we have to have one for the drink. We can't miss out on the drink.
We gotta pay extra for that, so it's gonna be on a different pole.
And then it's not even a pole, it's a straw.
Oh my god, you're so right.
We're brainstorming.
Wendy's should hire us. I don't know if Wendy's exists over there.
There are a couple Wendy's around, but obviously, for obvious reasons, a lot of them got closed down because not popular.
I don't think I've ever gone to a Wendy's.
It's okay, I went to a Wendy's once and only bought a drink. I wasn't hungry. It was the first time ever I wasn't hungry. But then again, I ate a burrito before, so yeah.
I don't think you're missing. Wendy's is a square hamburger place, right?
Is it?
Am I wrong? They're the we don't freeze our meat shtick, right? And they got square hamburgers because that means it's fresh. I don't know what a cow looks like, but I imagine square because I play a lot of Minecraft.
You should call yourself Buff Steve. Steve started to hit different
Oh
once he
my.
went to the gym. I'm reading your chat.
I actually liked that so much. I immediately changed my name to Bigger Buffer Steve. But it'll be in the next round. It doesn't change until I switch into a lobby.
It's all good. It's all good.
Sibling knows I stream and it's one of my mods, but I also trust them with my life, so it's a bit different. Yeah, I don't blame you for keeping Sibling.
Actually,
you guys seem like you're close.
If you want Icefire, because we're coming to a close end for our stream.
Look at this man.
Oh my god, is that Chungus I saw?
That is the biggest Nemo I have seen in a long time.
He's the biggest boy. Oh, he's smacking bloody Dwight. Holy god.
That poor Dwight. Oh, he did not have that range. He missed just the tip.
I was going to say, if you want, before you get off, I could show you my model thus far.
Okay.
But you have to have VR chat.
Did I make that? No.
Are you making it?
I did make it. I lied. I made it.
No boss left behind. Kevin's next to me. Hopefully he doesn't notice me over here. Go away, Kevin. Nobody's got time for you.
Guess I'll do my generator then. Is he just leaving our teammate over there?
He is. I don't know if he's going back for them. Teammate's still on the ground. Are you near teammate?
I was gonna pick him up, but we have a friend here.
Is it Kevin?
No, it's Nemo.
I've almost finished this gen.
Is he coming? Oh yeah, there it goes. Look at that little... Oh, I caught my head on the stairs! I should have wore protection. Oh, what is... Why is revealing him? We peg him? We peg
I don't know,
Nemo?
what's your perk?
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. Oh, he's looping himself. Let him go.
He's doing the work for you.
Oh my god, I ran into him. I got too bold.
Okay, good news. I'm about to finish the second generator.
Nice.
Which means, oh my god, Dwight looks like he's seen some shit.
Dwight has seen some stuff. I saw him in Nemo earlier. And they were not baking a cake.
Like, oh yeah.
Icefire 5 o'clock shadow confirmed. Demon Ace, I'm lazy and sometimes I don't shave very much. I get rid of my mustache because I can't grow facial hair.
I'll give it to you,
and I try to get rid of my neck beard. That's about the extent of my bi-daily grooming. Killer is next to me to my left.
Is he chasing somebody?
Ooh.
Okay, I'm at the end of the street, by the way.
Okay. I'm assuming this end. No, that end.
The end with the street light on?
Street light.
This one.
Oh, long time no see.
I know, right?
I keep getting slippery meat. This game wants me to Kobe.
I literally got that too. Maybe we should try.
Oh god. I don't think I can make my attempts anymore. Oh, that's why I saw the killer. I have object of obsession. I kept seeing him mid-chase. You have obsession. Thanks, Taco.
I have a
My
lightweight,
brain cells
hell
pieced
yeah.
it together eventually.
Oh my god, look. It's
Granted, it looks like
fucking
you've been growing
Kevin.
that for 3
Kevin's
weeks
making
now.
his
This is
way
a
over here,
solid
Ice.
5 days.
Get out of here, Kevin. Nobody wants you over
Oh,
here.
I hate Kevin. I can fix this.
You know who's worse than Kevin?
What? Who?
Sharon.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right? She just doesn't take the hint.
No.
There goes Kevin.
Kevin, come back. I'm actually surprised that didn't attract him.
Wait. No, he's still walking.
Yeah.
he's still going go.
He's a cool guy. See you later, Kevin. I swear, when you play Nemo, it's 50-50 whether your zombies are some of the most cracked survivors you've ever experienced, or if they're just absolutely worthless. No hooking on this hook.
He went to the wrong hook, Ice.
Yeah, he saw me, Sabo. I have background players, so it kind of paired out really well.
Hi, Dwight.
Well, the trick is getting a good beard and to just not shave it. My wife hates facial hair. So that is off the record. I also don't like the itchiness. Facial hair after like a week just gets so itchy.
No,
What do I do with you?
He's literally he's after Dwight. Dude, stop.
What is
Stop.
this hex?
Stop. You are better than this, Nemesis. Come on.
Too much
He's
throat
seriously
canceled.
going
Banned off
after
Twitch. I'm
Dwight.
sorry, Nox. I'll delete the clip, the
This,
VOD.
and I'm
There'll
gonna
be no
take it to
evidence.
Laurie's house. Could you grab Dwight for me, Ice?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm taking him all the way to the playground, all the way at the back of the house.
You guys gonna play on the swings together?
No.
Oh.
I'm taking him to the kitchen.
You want to bring me a sandwich? I'd appreciate. I'm kind of hungry.
I will bring you the best sandwich of your life. Ow.
I'm excited.
Hey now, Sharon's great. She loves to get stuck
Sharon's
on
here.
everything imaginable. Sharon's there?
Yeah.
I will never get over how I became friends with a nemesis because of my friend being scared of Sharon. It was like the best thing to ever happen.
Dude, sometimes the zombies are a little spooky. Now these ones move at the speed of
Felix
smell,
came
though.
for me. Hello, Felix. Thank you.
Zombies coming through the middle of the house, by the way, so don't try to cut through it.
Is it Sharon or is it Kevin?
It's Sharon.
It's Oh, teammate's about to die.
What if? No, I don't think I have enough. I don't think I can do another Sabo. There's a chance. Come to this hook. I know you want to.
Is he going to?
No, I went to the other hook. I ran out of Sabo toolbox. Didn't even matter. I was just an empty threat. I'm sorry, Dwight. So what are the windows in this building? A window here. No window. Sir? Maybe next time. Hydrate? I will. I'm thirsty, actually.
Felix?
Not enough clavicle? Wait, what's a clavicle? Is that in your throat? Is that the Adam's apple? No, that wouldn't be right. The collarbone. Ooh.
All right, he's going for Felix. I'm gonna go back up to this gen up the top. Kevin! What are you doing here?
That was the crispest Kevin I've ever heard.
Come on, Kevin. Kevin! I dropped a pallet on Kevin. I had it with him and his shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my god, well, goodbye, people. I'm gonna sell some souls down. Oh, have an incredibly safe journey. Oh,
I
I'm
could be
going to
shirtless
give myself
Steve.
this
No,
shot.
I can't be shirtless Steve. There's no shirtless skin for Steve. David, I could be shirtless David, but that's just always David. There's no need to
Oh,
commemorate it with a special title.
oh no, Sharon! What? Please, please. Look, I know I killed Kevin,
The
but
collarbone.
nobody
Thank you, thank
liked
you.
Kevin.
Who says this isn't Buff Steve? What if I'm Buff Steve? I threw your intuition off with my
Ow.
non-polo shirt. But in
I have
reality,
no idea where you guys are, by the
I
way.
am Steve. Oh, we're in the basement of the house across from Myers' house. The middle house.
Oh, oh, I see, I see. So keep
No.
running the way I'm running.
Yeah, bring him down here, actually. Make him work on this generator. This is taking a lot of time.
But yeah,
You should
would love
still
to,
play
but
David,
I
but
am
name him
currently,
Steve. I
I'm
think you're
currently
right.
down.
That would be a good one.
Damn it, I should have taken him to Laurie's house.
Listen, I'm so used to playing Steve, I didn't even register. I used to David all the time. I used to Ace. Ace was my main. Because he's just so quiet. Okay, what's going on over there? I might work on this door before I come over there, just so that when I unhook you, you're not doomed. Unless he's not chasing. Is he not chasing? Oh, he's coming back. No, he's not. Oh, he is chasing. I'm gonna unhook you because he's nowhere near. I'm gonna have you hide, and then I'm gonna do this gate. Ah. I could heal you, or
Well, he's going for teammate right now.
that is correct. Let me get the gate ready.
And teammate is coming this way.
You hi, he's coming straight over here in front of you. Careful. I'll take him away. Oh, he broke off. He saw your trail. No, he didn't. I don't know what he saw. If I do this, he
Piss
tries to pull up
off,
the whip at
Sharon.
this pallet, right? Oh, he went back to the gate. He's protecting the gate. We're at the
Alright,
down the
then
road.
I'm going down to the other gate then.
Other gate. That is in fact. Where's the killer at? Sharon, killer's going along the outside of the wall counterclockwise. They turn around. No, he's coming to you. He's coming to
He
your gate.
followed me, Ice. He
No,
followed me.
I don't have any
He
toolbox
followed
left.
me.
What if I
He followed me.
intimidate
He followed
him?
me.
I'm coming.
I wish
direction?
I'm in the house.
Here's my plan. We act like we're gonna sabo, and then you go somewhere else, and I go over there and I take a hit. I don't have enough speed boost left. Come on.
I'm dead. I'm
He's
dead.
slow.
Forget me. I
No, it
swear.
wasn't enough.
I don't know why teammate didn't go for the game.
Is there a thing over here? Oh, I see what she did there. That's very clever. Pulls up the tentacle. Damn, he's got tier 3. Has our teammate touched the door yet?
They just did. They've been
Okay.
working on it.
Okay.
Now they got the killer's attention. and you're getting carried, I see.
I like the moxie this man has. Oh my
Run.
god, you legend. Is he... The gate's over here, right? Where's our teammate at? Oh, that's bad. Can I touch that?
Go! Go, 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 go! Live! At least you two got out. That's all that
Oh my
matters.
God, but I wanted you to get out. Okay, we gotta see the model.
You're like, it's like, I want to see the No, we gotta wait till the end of the stream. It's almost done though. We've almost reached 4 hours, which is great. Now we get to find someone to raid. Is anyone I know playing Dead by Daylight?
I mostly play
besides me
Ada
and
because
you?
she's hot, gives me 0
Probably.
advantage. Ada's got the quietest feet. Is it the feet, or does she have the flip-flop sounds?
Oh my god, did you hear about the whole
Ada's
Annabelle
very
doll
quiet, though.
going missing?
Wait, what going missing?
Annabelle, the doll? Like the actual doll?
Wait a minute, I thought Annabelle was based off of a different doll.
No, so the Annabelle doll is a real doll, Icefire.
Wait, is it actually missing? 1 second. We gotta confirm this. We're going on a investigation.
Investigation.
Did it go missing?
I'm telling you, I am wholeheartedly telling you, it's missing. It's not there.
Huh. When did that happen? It's funny because the first result on
Weeks
Google
ago, I
is saying
think.
that this is a lie.
It's a like hell. It's a lie. No, they're sexy. Oh my god. Hello, Mousy Mouse. Mousy, Mousy.
I want a source saying that this is actually not true.
Banana. Are you here for potassium purpose, Mousy? How are you today, Mousy Mouse? Oh my god. I think I know who I'm gonna raid. They look so adorable.
Who is it?
I will. Would you like to raid them too?
Yeah, I'd be down.
All right, let me send you their name. I'm also gonna send it to Wanderer. Wanderer.
Wait, are we doing another round or is this the end?
We could do one more round. Do you want to do one more round?
I'll leave it up to you. I can technically be awake for a little while longer.
Let's do one more round, but an OG game, so not Chaos Shuffle.
Okay. That way if we lose, I can't blame the game.
For the technicality of the perks it gave us.
Yeah. It's okay, I'll blame lag. I still have an excuse, a scapegoat.
Blame the lag. Blame the lag, I swear. That's all it is. Chief of the army is coming tomorrow. Ooh, that's a little bit scary.
The chief of the army? What does that mean? Like Master Chief? Does he know about Halo?
Master Chief. Alright. Who should I play?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna keep leveling up the characters I've been meaning to level up because I have a rule, not including Nancy. We don't like Nancy. Where I have all my characters at least at level 6.
Okay, I'm gonna make a Houdini build.
A Houdini build.
Quick and quiet, lithe. And then dance with me? The idea is I hit a window full speed, get a sprint boost, lose scratch marks, and then we're gonna go to Gideon Meat Plant. Blame Luna, they're making you play when you're so tired. Wait a minute. Oh, you're right. That is a good excuse. I can blame whatever I want. I've played enough Call of Duty to know that I can even blame my own team.
I am currently figuring out a new perk set.
Ooh?
What
you
that
trying to
will
work
be,
with?
I have no idea.
Did you just equip random perks and hope for the best?
No, I do sometimes as a giggle, but this time I'm actually thinking about it.
Dude, sometimes you can get really clever ones that work really well.
Quick and quiet. Okay, and then the last one.
What if... You know, that's a good idea. Be David and be the buffer shirtless Steve. You know, that's not a bad plan. I'm gonna have to write that down. Next time I play Dead by Daylight.
Damn it! I
When
should
in
have put a
doubt,
third
crouch
one.
by the
Fourth
hook
one. I was gonna
and just
put
hope
Bond even.
they don't
You know what?
notice
3
you're not
points it
actually
is.
saboteuring. Yeah, sometimes you can make that work. Sometimes you can do the opposite. You can actually just crouch behind the hook and then wait to sabo when they get really close. But in that situation, that was my end goal. And it did work. They did leave.
Send you.
My cat's screaming again? That means she's gonna come over here? My cat's screaming at me?
What do you mean your cat's screaming at you? What are you doing to the cat?
Sometimes she just likes to scream.
I can hear her. Do you have your cam open? Can I see the cat?
She's not here yet. Oh, she coming. Yeah? You want to scream
All I
some
hear
more?
Is she coming?
Little bean. The baby.
There she is. Look at her. The baby.
She's leaving us. She just wanted to say hi.
She wanted her presence to be known.
Sometimes she just
That's
feels
very
that
important.
need. We have old man Gerald. Gerald? What is his name?
I think it's Geralt of Rivia. That is an Oni.
Oh, I can't play against Oni. Godspeed. I'm gonna go do a gen in the middle. Well, she said she was missing a building burnt down and 10 prisoners escaped. That just sounds like a normal week in Kentucky. Oh, they're coming. What if I hide over here?
He's currently chasing the Claudette, so we should be fine. Wanderer, I just sent you the name of somebody. Could you make double sure that they're still streaming? They have the cutest
That's
little
bad.
fugi I've ever
That's
seen.
really
It's
bad.
literally
Kinda
like a
like this,
Jason
maybe.
reference as they're playing Dead by Daylight. It's adorable. I appreciate people who base their thing around horror. I love horror.
Cat. Gotta lock in. I gotta make you proud.
You got this. I believe in you.
Am I blind? No?
Are you?
No, he's left. He found her. So based on what the news said, she was not gone. Someone spread a rumor. And that rumor probably caught on because it's a cursed doll and people like the idea of it being spooky. I'm playing the bigger buffer Steve and I'm Ada.
I don't need this map. This map is useless to me. He has not hurt anybody.
He hit me once. He is in power, probably.
Yeah, but everyone's healed as well. I'm going down here. Oh,
What ping am I? I looked at the wrong name. I was trying to figure out how long I have to fake in advance. That scream makes
is
me
he just going
not...
for the downs?
He might try to go for a forward slug. I've seen that against an Oni, especially like Nurse and Blight too. They have enough momentum sometimes they can make that work.
Okay, I'm going for you.
You can get away with anything if you gaslight them enough. Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta gaslight your teammates into realizing that they're the problem and not you. That's actually how I live my relationships personally. I like to make sure that anyone that's in my life knows that they're my problem. Whee!
Hello, sir.
Ada's in fact the bigger buffer Steve, yeah. I don't think Ada's known for being the
not that silly,
buffest of ladies, but I do know she's a badass. I need to heal though. Oni's gonna get a lot of power off of me.
Oh!
Good chase.
No, it could have been better. Thank you, though. Where are you taking me? Ow! Hello, beast. Welcome in.
And now's the time. Now's the time to shine. I gotta hit this window.
I am wonderful, and yourself?
Just right. We bring him back. We take him around town.
Oh, Claudette.
Yeah.
You.
We hit the window and we leave.
I am determined to.
I don't
make
have
a
endurance.
set
I didn't run
that
fast.
That is amazing. Sore as hell. You should have a hot shower.
Does he know? Is he a knower?
Anything involving heat? Thank you.
No, he's not. I lost my scratch marks.
Claudette. The Witcher called you brave.
I lost my scratch marks with my Houdini build, and he lost sight of me the shack and got lost and left. Oh my god. This build is amazing. No one expects it.
I was working on a generator inside Killer Shack.
Ooh, I was near shack. It's gonna be right here. Oh.
So he's currently gone to the corner, furthest, not furthest, but right-hand side of Shack. But from the top of the ship, it's the left-hand side.
I'm hopping on the shack gen, but it's almost done. Or it's almost gone. Anything Ada's
right
bigger
now
buffer Leon? Leon is like
Trevor
baby.
is running to the middle.
In my mind, Leon is like
like
you took a trained soldier and you gave him the brain of a 6-year-old. Leon, if he stopped eating glue for 2 seconds, exactly. If he understood his strength, he'd be so much more impressive. If he could pull a Chris and just punch a boulder, that would set him in stone as the biggest, buffest Steve.
Is near the ship, near the front of the ship.
That was a medium.
Oh, but he found you.
You think he's gonna see me, Houdini,
It's
again?
been 50-50 today. We've met some really lovely people. The games have been overall very lovely.
He's a knower.
Some killers, though, have been questionable. Hello, Oni. Hello, Oni.
Dude, the Houdini build, every single time. It's worked on him. He doesn't know where I went. Maybe this is the build to run.
In all honesty, I feel like
Nox.
if the Witcher went against any of the slashers, they would die to the Witcher.
Dude, imagine if you got the Witcher skin, you could just kill the killer. That was the bonus of it. Oh, he's coming back. Does he go around the outside? Slicing? He's dicing? But can he stir? I think he's leaving. Yeah, he left. He kicked my gen and left. He's just trying to hold a 3-gen, I think.
Well,
He's gonna come inside full speed, isn't he?
A couple killers who tunneled a bunch of people out.
Oh, he's right there. What a bad time to not look behind me.
The first one out of all the killers that tunneled us out was a hillbilly, which is actually kind of sad.
Shack gen is at 60 right now.
Oh, I think teammate might complete it, but I'm gonna have a backup gen just in case.
Consider the drop. She survived in Resident Evil 2 canon. I rest my case. She's the one with Wesker that
hell yeah.
got like taken off a cliff, right? But she was also like genetically cloned. What's the chance that she's not actually alive after that and they resurrected her?
I'm gonna 99 it before I come.
They had the technology. Is it canon?
Sounds like a plan.
Yes. I was not paying attention. What did they say? Can someone help me?
Sure. A lot of the time, as strange as it sounds, a lot of the killers that we went against today were just very questionable. Because there were moments where we thought maybe they weren't tunneling, and like we gave them the benefit of the
Nope,
doubt.
nope, nope, nope,
Ice
nope, nope, nope,
fire,
nope.
don't do it.
No, no, no. Oh, I understand. This is bad.
Oh no.
No, 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 this is okay. This is okay. Claudini's got a plan. This was a plan. Okay. Ooh,
Come for the gate. I've almost opened it.
I need to body block. Oh, he's out of power. What was this
It's
gate?
open.
Ooh, look at
It's
that.
behind shut. Go, 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 go. Run, damn it, run.
Don't worry, I had a sprint burst ready.
Yes, a
See?
win. All part of the plan.
Yeah.
No, what was the killers that were tunnely, that were questionable to us, Icefire? I know one tried to go for me hardcore.
The
Ken Carnegie, but
grudge.
the female one?
Oh yeah, that one was a tunneler. That was crazy. And then you got the grudge that just did not want to leave you alone. Like literally, I'd body block her mid chase, then she would just continue on with
The
her
Blight.
divine
That was
destiny.
another one. Another one was a Blight. I
Yeah, the
think Blight's
Blighty boy.
probably the memorable one. No matter how much I threw my body in front of him, he just didn't want me. He just wanted you, Icefire. He was like,
Yeah.
today's the night. Today's the day.
He knew I
This
was
is
gonna
where it
grow up to
ends.
be the biggest buffest Steve, and he had to stop me.
He had to stop you. It was all part of the plan. Oh, Icefire. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Sometimes you just gotta do the sacrifices for the other people around you.
You just see us over here just crying. Do, 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 do.
Lean on his first day of being an official
little
officer. That is
ceremony and
actually
everything
wild
like
that's the
that.
storyline.
Hi, Louie. Good morning.
Houdini only works if you don't get caught. See,
Your
that's the
time
plan.
is
Houdini, you
over.
hit
We're
the
literally
vault and you
ending.
scatter.
Ending.
Sometimes that works.
Or do we play one more game and I keep trying this build that I'm attempting to put together?
What's your build so far?
Okay.
Oh, I
so
can
hear
see
me
it.
out.
I like that
Hear
you
me
only
out.
have 3 perks. That shows me that you're determined.
I was trying to figure out what the 4th one could be, and then we got thrown into a game, and I was
Urban
like,
immersion, Windows. Okay, so quick and quiet urban immersion. What would you do with that?
well, considering that last game, I wasn't getting seen, period. On top of crouch walking fast, and then quick and quiet, along with windows of opportunity. I don't know what the 4th perk would be.
Your goal is to not get seen. You could run distortion.
I could. Or I could run Bond and just be the runner.
Wait, xenomorph.
Why do I
Am I
have a map?
lost? I don't remember where
Do we
xenomorph
not
came
have
in.
A map?
Like, what's a map for? Dude, I swear I don't have any maps.
You know what? I'm going to try Bond. I'm going to try Bond. Quick and quiet. Have a great day. Bye. I love you too. I love you too. Oh my god. Let me see. I am playing some Fortnite right now. Oh, that sounds like fun. I haven't played Fortnite in such a long time.
Yeah. This will probably be my
Used to
last one
play
if
with
we play another
somebody,
one.
and I just never really went back after that. Well, to be honest, I played because of 2 people, and it just wasn't the same anymore. So I just didn't have anyone to play with, you know? So I just stopped.
I pulled a
That's what
clutch
you're playing.
1v4 in Fortnite, and then I ended it there so that I just have that perfect record behind me.
No, we'll play one more game. We're gonna see how this works, and if it fails, I fail you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Icefire.
No, it's
I
okay.
fail you.
I'm gonna tinkle. I'll be back.
Hello, Wanderer. I know, I know. Onion dip. Oh my god, it's a Nicolas Cage. Look, Icefire. He's so flashy. if I ever want to play Fortnite with me, you can ask. Oh, I will keep that in mind. I was thinking about coming back because of the cute little event, but I'm so out of the loop, period, of Fortnite. I will look into it. I will do my own little research and I'll see how I feel, but I'll definitely look into it. Once again, keep in mind, Fortnite isn't my go-to game. I only strictly played it because of certain people in my life. I'll look into it though. I'll dabble. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of really like the dances in Fortnite. And I had to change, oh my god, my the
Guys, I had an epiphany. I was in the bathroom and they said Nicolas Cage. I could make my name Cageless Nickel.
we are in the DC crossover season. Yeah, isn't Superman and Robin now in the game? I thought I heard someone talking about it. Oh, Icefire.
I'm back.
Do you play Marvel Rivals?
I've I've played it 3 times, yes.
Oh my god. Your thoughts on it?
It's not bad. It's a competent game.
A competent game. Oh, I hear it. Some shade coming.
I don't think it's a bad game, but it just reminds me of Overwatch.
You know what? I can see that. I think that's the one issue that a lot of those games have, is that they remind them too much of another game.
Well, it's not even like that's a problem. I wish.
No.
Oh, it's a Bubba. We're ending on the best killer. Bubba, my boy, my beloved. Oh my god, I've been blessed. Oh, he's got the barbecue. He's got the chili add-on too. Can I peg him? Come over here, Bubba.
Oh my god, keep him away from me. Keep him as far away. You can keep him. You can have him. I don't want him.
I'm down here.
No. No, 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 no.
He's a good boy.
No.
I pegged him. Sir? Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
I should have stopped him, but I had the chance, Wondra. I should have. God damn it.
Go back. This isn't your side of the window. Good boy. Oh, I love Bubba. Bubba's such a good killer. Oh.
No Bubba. Bad Bubba. Go away. Stinky. No good Stinky. Bad Stinky. Go away, Bubba.
Oh, okay. I gotta loop him properly this time.
Also, if we play, you never know, I might send a gift. Oh, you don't need to do that. Just playing the game is gift enough to me. Oh, no, it's a Bubba. I don't want to go over there.
What if he has Insidious? What if he's just camping with Insidious right around the corner?
I knew you well. I'm not coming for you.
Yeah, it's okay. I got my one and done. That's all that matters. Ah. God, I love Bubba so much. There's only so many killers.
Is someone coming for you?
No, well, Bubba's coming. He came over here for me.
Is he camping you?
No, he wandered off. He's actually kind of angry. He hit the wall. Maybe when he has to get he's a hammer. What if he's getting into construction? Guys, what if he's building the meat plant and making it better? What just happened to that pallet? Oh, it's gone. Not Luna abandoning you because of Bubba. It's okay. They got trauma.
No, I'm sorry, guys. Bubba's where my line is. I can't even. Where did he die? Where did he drop?
I don't know where generators are. What if instead of doing the generator, I go back and get chased?
Oh my god.
You have to love a good Bubba. He is truly a good boy.
No. Well, no. I will never
What do you
accept
not like
Bubba.
about Bubba? Look at
Everything.
that precious little face of his.
Everything. Fuck his face.
He's got two faces that's so precious.
Fuck right off. No.
I think he's misunderstood. I think if you got to know him, you would like him more.
No, but I will. There is nothing that could change my feelings on Bubba.
Yeah?
Yep.
What if I told
that,
you
Revan?
I was a Bubba main for a long time?
I already know that you are Bubba main.
What's that
for a
Bubba
long
behind
time.
me? This is awkward. No, not onion dip. If their names were in a different order, it would be small onion dip. Friends till the end. Ooh, this is awkward. That box. Oh, he's here.
So I go for onion dip.
Did I make that? This is a bold move, guys. Oh, my headset's about to die. I have bad news.
Go away, go away, go away,
think
go
he's
away, go
coming
away,
back.
go away, go away, go away, go away,
Think
go
my
away, go
headset
away,
will
go away,
survive
go
a
away, go away.
round without dying.
I think I DC'd.
Okay.
I think I DC'd. I think I DC'd.
That was definitely the internet, wasn't it? It wasn't the Bubba.
What? You saw that, right?
1 second, I gotta investigate the Bubba. What's happening here?
But we were over there. We were over. Yeah, I know we were over
Over
there.
here.
I swear, I'm telling you, we were here, and then it stopped us, and then you son of a bitch.
Wait! I thought you were the
I
friend.
give up.
No.
I give
No.
up.
No.
Take me.
No. No.
I give up on life. I
This is my hook.
What is happening right now? I think Papa's mad at you.
No, I traded for you. He's giving you back. See?
No, he's mad at you. He is mad at you.
No, he's giving you back. Wait. What's the plan here?
Icefire, he does not like you.
Can I take that one? I want this one.
I'll take this one.
I want that one. Oh, that's rude.
He's like, you don't touch them. You don't deserve to touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm really scared of you. Yeah. Can I get him? Can I get him?
Oh my god, Bubba wore his suit. He's all dressed
Okay.
up.
There we go.
Look at that good boy.
Yeah, no, look, Nicolas Cage is sacrificing you.
Oh heck yeah, let's do this. Ooh, he thought I was gonna greed.
I think he's on you.
Is he coming? No,
he
he's
came
not.
back, he came back.
You got him. You got this. Chase him for 3 more generators and we'll be out of here right as rain. That's what old people say, right?
Well, you could take me.
Oh, here we go. Wow, you have a manly scream.
I do have a manly scream. I'm so scared right now.
Wait, we had a 4th teammate that whole time.
Yes, she's been doing God's work. She's been
Oh my
doing the
god.
generators. She's been
That
doing...
poor Fangman has been doing nothing but holding M1 for the last 5 minutes. Welcome back.
I'm not gonna heal you. I'm gonna
I can
go
heal
heal
you.
the same thing. I don't want you touching me, you traitor.
Sorry, I prematurely dropped that pallet.
Lies.
Oh,
Let me heal you, girl. Let me heal you. You've been doing such a good job working on the gens. Oh my god.
yeah, I love
The
Fang.
Bubba. I think the Bubba is just looking at you like I hate you right now. How could
You needed to
do
see
this?
the beginning of my match. I'm gonna send you my VOD to the start, and you're gonna see what kind of shenanigans we were going through. I hold the Bubba first thing, and then we had a little bonding moment. Do I have a pallet? Oh, that's actually bad.
Thank you.
Oh no, it's not bad. He kicked. We got lots of distance. A window? Wait, is he not coming? Oh, sick. You're walking into the Bubba, by the way.
No, he's looking for onion dip.
Oh, dude, that's fair. I kind of feeling like I could go for some munchies too. He's probably coming back. He's not coming back. He never comes back. What if we let Fang die? Would that be evil?
That is evil. You're evil.
I need a heal. I need a heal, and then we're gonna go to the grocery store, and we're gonna bring home some onion. Am I that ugly? You really have to scream at me as I walk by.
Yes, yes, I'm screaming because you're evil.
Oh. I like to use the term, positively challenged. Not. Oh, he's got no way out. So that means I get to practice my moonwalking. Come on. We got this. Come on. There we go. A little more. Why am I struggling?
The gate?
This gate's blocked. I can't actually do anything. What direction are we going? Ooh, I thought he was gonna hit the railing. You see this?
Goodbye, I swear.
You see this?
I do see this. I bought him here.
That I can't do that door. That door's blocked. I do love onion dip. Same.
I don't know where he's taking you, but I took him to you, Icefire. I won't lie. The tables of tables.
His little tippy taps. Look at his shoes. Look at him though. Look at my boy. He is all dressed up for this occasion, and you're saying you don't like this man?
I like this Papa, but you.
Oh, we can slug race. Well, we need you to come over here, Luna. It's a slug race.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
He's coming to get you. He doesn't want you to miss out.
I'm coming.
This is
I'm
the
coming.
man that you don't like.
I'm running.
He wants to be part of this moment. Look at him. He's so excited. If you run in front of him, he'll down. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now you gotta come over to the slug race. Look at him. He's helping you over. Okay. Now when he swings, we go. Okay. Wait, is it red light, green light? Wait a minute. Okay. Wait. Oh, we just going then? Wait, are we gonna red light, green light, or are we just slug racing? What's happening here?
I hope he takes you, Icefire.
I hope he does too. No, I need you to... I want you... No! 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 Luna! I would have stayed if I knew he was gonna do that. Wait, what's happening? Oh, he's gonna do Mori.
He's okay.
No, I didn't mean to give you more trauma. Oh no. Hey, you get a little more quality bonding time with our Bubba boy.
I
Love.
covered my eyes because I was so scared. Bubba is evil. Oh wow. Next minute, it's gonna be like, you know who's gonna yell at you next time? Trixie. And
Oh.
Mickey, I'm gonna tell on you.
Oh no. Okay, that was a good time though.
I am so scared of Bubba.
But he's such a good boy. He's so wholesome.
You tried to kill me.
I can't deny this fact, but
So you did try to kill me.
I was trying to be
You
dumb.
tried to traumatize me with Bubba even more.
I was hoping.
Hello, Bubba. GG, Bubba.
Oh my god, I
don't-
love Bubba.
I want to say I know what happened, right? But understand, I'm scared of Bubba, and so as I was running away,
Guys, we're going to
I'm like,
Luna's
I'm
chat.
just gonna drop this pallet.
We're gonna say
I'm
hi to
gonna
Bubba.
Flash him with the flashlight and run away. I don't know how the fuck from the pallet we ended up all the way back when
Guys,
you
we're sneaking in.
first saw me. I wish I knew.
While she doesn't know,
I don't know what happened. I guess
we're gonna join this stream
through a wormhole of some
and
kind.
we're gonna
to like
invade.
5 feet back.
Thanks for stopping by, Taco and Masa and Dusty and Demon Ace and Nox
Honestly,
and Novi
on my screen,
and
I don't know if
Zoyer.
you
I
had
hope
the
you guys
same
all
thing
have
I
an
had.
amazing